to join Chelsea. We know that Julian Nagelsmann certainly won't be coming to the north of the capital, so maybe today another chance for Ryan Mason, the interim boss, to stake a claim. The clock is ticking in the Premier League campaign, but so much to be decided, hearts to be broken and dreams to be made. And in the top flight campaign, well, if it's a marathon, we're into the final straight. We're off and underway at Villa Park with goals as they go in elsewhere, live on Talksport. Tottenham playing from left to right in the first half towards the towering Holt end. Spurs in the white shirts, dark blue shorts and white socks. Villa in claret and blue with white shorts, playing from right to left towards the north stand, closest to our commentary position. We're about midway inside the half to the left. Aston Villa have one possession back straight away from kick-off, and alongside me for the afternoon is the former Arsenal winger Perry Groves.
Yeah, just looking at Spurs kicking off, trying to get the ball deep into Aston Villa's half. Richarlison giving the foul away. Then when Spurs are out of possession, they're going into that 4-4-2 formation.
Here's Jacob Ramsey tearing forward straight away. Emerson Royale slides in with a firm but fair challenge, and Aston Villa win a corner inside the first minute. And those Villa fans on all four sides of the stadium actually leap to their feet almost as one, as a collective. It's a huge game this for Aston Villa, just as it is for Tottenham. Remarkable recovery under Unai Emery for the Midlands club, having been relegation contenders, it looked like, under Steven Gerrard at one stage in the season. But Emery has sent them storming up the table, and can they make a very fast start here? It's Douglas Luiz with the corner, plays it backwards and short to McGinn. McGinn back out wide to Douglas Luiz, right in front of us on the near side of the field. Rolls it back to the feet of McGinn again. His ball in isn't good. Skip couldn't get it away though. It comes back to the edge of the box, smuggled away by Højbjerg, away from Buendia, and now Richarlison leads the counter for Tottenham over the halfway line. He's got Mings to take on that far side of the field. Buendia trying to snap back at him. Richarlison has held up possession well. He's midway inside Villa territory. Back now to Højbjerg, and Tottenham have it on the halfway line. An energetic opening, but 0-0 on Talksport in the second minute of the game.
Yeah, just a bit of overindulgence there from Aston Villa. The corner on the left-hand side. Douglas Luiz just rolling it to John McGinn, and he rolling it back. And if you was Conter and
Tyrone
Mings,
by Longley, Richarlison is in, and he's hit it over the top, but the flag, as we expected, eventually does go up. He looked to be 4 or 5 yards offside there through the middle of Richarlison.
Yeah, Richarlison just went a little bit too early. You said there he looked to be well offside. Good decision by the linesman on this near side. Just wait until Richarlison had his shot, which is a bit frustrating sometimes, because it was a sharp intake of breath from the Aston Villa fans. Just mentioning Aston Villa's corner earlier, because you're going to bring your centre halves up, obviously Conter and Mings. They want you to get the ball into the box. So there was 3 passes between John McGinn and Douglas Luiz, and they didn't get the ball into the box. Spurs end up clearing it, and Richarlison hits Aston Villa on the counter-attack over on the left-hand side.
First goal of the 3 o'clock kickoffs has come in the Scottish Premiership. Dundee United 0, Ross County 1. Ross County, who start bottom of the table but can leapfrog Dundee United with a win today. And Kilmarnock, who sit in 11th position. Ross County lead at Dundee United. They're underway in the League One playoff semi-final as well, which is live on Talksport 2. That first leg between Bolton and Barnsley. All of the playoff matches live and exclusive to the Talksport network. Goals as they go in from the Premier League today as well. Leeds 2, Newcastle 2. A full-time score from earlier live on Talksport. So Leeds stay in the drop zone, albeit they're only a point from safety. And as I say, goals as they go in from elsewhere, including from St Mary's, where Southampton could be relegated today. Aston Villa 0, Tottenham 0. Emi Martinez all in grey with the short sleeves, with an early touch of the ball, the Aston Villa goalkeeper. And now it's Ashley Young in the right back position. Villa, who have Matty Cash back on the bench today. Long ball by Young, floated downfield, and the energetic Bailey will chase that. Across comes Romero to head the ball into touch in front of the Tottenham supporters. Aston Villa have a throw far side there, right in the sunshine.
Yeah, just see Spurs there. They're bit and caught twixt and between, because when Martinez has the ball, you've got Son on the left-hand side closing down, Harry Kane and Richarlison. And then they've played it out easy to Ashley Young on the right-hand side, and Ben Davies is probably 20 yards too deep.
John McGinn midway inside the Tottenham half, angles the ball wide to the near side, and Alex Moreno, he's taking on Pedro Porro, crosses deflected into the near post, steered away initially by Romero, and then sent skywards by Emerson Royale towards halfway. Richarlison can't retain possession. Aston Villa, who are seeking a 6th successive Premier League win at home, have it back, and Tottenham have far from been impressive on the road of late. Their last Premier League victory away from North London was on the 23rd of January. I can see Ryan Mason with a dark hoodie on, standing on the edge of his technical area. Unai Emery to his left. Aston Villa, who have been so greatly improved since Unai Emery took charge in the late autumn. Now Mings, forward to Alex Moreno again, getting forward for the third time in the game, trying an early cross. It's come back off Emerson Royale, it's gone behind, and the referee signals for a second Aston Villa corner. 5 minutes gone, and 0-0 on Talksport.
Yeah, Villa getting a little bit of joy down this left-hand side. Jacob Ramsey goes inverted, and that allows Moreno to come on the outside of him. Second corner in the first 5 minutes. Let's hope for Aston Villa's sake and Contra and Tyrone Mings' sake that Douglas Luiz actually whipped this one into the box first time.
The bright orange boots on for the Brazilian, tattoos down his arms, in front of the North Stand here with its 2 tiers, and just 25 yards or so away from our commentary position. It's quite a compact position here, nice and close to the pitch, and we're still waiting for the first goal of the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League, including here at Villa Park. Douglas Luiz, he'll be right-footed and in-swinging. Will he whip this underneath the crossbar into the near post? Tucked a cross goal by Buendia, who'd made a darting run to the near. It'll reach Konsa away on the far side of the field. Hugging that touchline has to go back to Ashley Young. Young will pump the ball cross-field, right to left, up to the edge of the penalty area. Mings, unchallenged, wins the header. Tottenham sloppy there defensively. Now it's with the number 10, Buendia. Jinking feet, but he can't spin beyond Pedro Porro. The challenge was firm but fair, and Pedro Porro clears only as far as Mings. Aston Villa have it back again, and Tottenham are having to see off early pressure here. Douglas Luiz eventually chips it back to the halfway line, and the waiting Jacob Ramsey.
He did initially well there. Pedro Porro just got his challenge in, but then he's got to make sure that he bypasses the midfield to hit it to Harry Kane in the channel. Just snap-hooked it into midfield and gave possession away again.
Here is Konsa in the centre circle. It was rather cloudy and grey on the drive up, but the sun has very much come out now. Now it certainly does feel like the last couple of weeks of the season, Perry.
There's a real vibrant feeling, isn't there, around Villa Park? I was saying to you, it's like it was the first game of the season, because Unai Emery said in his programme notes that he's desperate for Aston Villa to get European football. You know, if that's in the conference, so be it. And there's no better manager than what you want in charge of your team if he's in the Conference Europa League, because Unai Emery is like the Europa League Jedi.
When we got to the game early today, we thought Perry was in the press lounge. He was actually accidentally in the director's lounge. Of course he was. As Moreno looks to feed the ball forward up the middle, Watkins with a decent dummy to find Ramsey. Referee plays the advantage. Now it's hit further wide to Bailey. Bailey inside the penalty area, angle against him, cuts it back. Ramsey tucks it in. What a start for Aston Villa! Jacob Ramsey, the Villa boy, tucks it home in front of the North Stand, and in this huge game, in the battle for European football, it's Aston Villa who strike first, and Tottenham were cut to shreds. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0.
Really good play from Aston Villa in the build-up. Great little flick round the corner from Ollie Watkins. Really good advantage played by the referee Peter Banks. Allowed Aston Villa to get in a real attacking position down there, right-hand side. Leon Bailey goes on the outside of Ben Davies, pulls it back, and Jacob Ramsey coming in from this left-hand side from round about the penalty spot. A real crisp finish with his right foot. Gave Fraser Forster absolutely no chance whatsoever. Excellent team play from Aston Villa.
Jacob Ramsey at Aston Villa since he was 6 years old. Villa, blood runs through his veins. And what an important goal that could be in the context of the season. It's a goal that takes Aston Villa level with Tottenham on points. They would need a big win today to go above them into 6th on goal difference. But a blow for Spurs again. Away from home, they concede early. It's given away by Romero, and Tottenham are all at sea. Buendia can't find Ramsey on the halfway line. But it's Aston Villa who've made by far the brighter start. And they lead 1-0, and that was a lovely flowing move from Aston Villa, who had failed to score in back-to-back Premier League matches coming into today, but they were both away from home. Here at Villa Park, they're a different beast, Perry Groves.
Yeah, very much so. I think Unai Emery, he hasn't won any of his teams go 3 games without scoring. I think from Almeria back in 2007. I didn't want to say that before the game, to be fair, Joe, because I didn't want to put the mockers on it.
Here is Davis at the Holt end, a long way from our commentary position. Deep cross towards Richarlison, header away by Tyrone Mings. Now John McGinn charging forward for Aston Villa. You can feel the anticipation in the crowd whenever Aston Villa get the ball in an attacking position. And they're on their feet here to applaud McGinn, who thought that the free kick hadn't been given. He wriggled away from 3 white shirts, somehow kept possession. In the end, the referee, who is Peter Banks, does say let's take it back and give Aston Villa that free kick about 15-20 yards shy of the halfway line. This has been the Achilles heel for Tottenham this season, particularly away from home. Slow starts in matches, and they've started slowly here. 1-0 down in the first 10 minutes.
I want to make sure that it doesn't go to 2 and 3. We saw him at Newcastle, Liverpool, completely capitulate in the first 20 minutes, and Villa just look sharper. They look sharper in possession, they're sharper to the ball. Spurs haven't really started yet. They've sat up very deep in their own half.
Foul by Romero just inside Tottenham territory, and a free kick for Aston Villa just to the left of the lip of the centre circle as we look at it. Leeds 2, Newcastle 2 in the lunchtime kick-up in the Premier League. 0-0 elsewhere, and here at Villa Park, Aston Villa lead 1-0. They're looking to make it 2. Buendia down in the right back position, whips in the cross, headed away by Longley at the near post. Excellent work by Young and Bailey on the right, and it's headed behind for a third Aston Villa corner of the game on that far side as we look at it.
I'm just looking at Ben Davies there. He didn't get close enough to Leon Bailey for Aston Villa's goal to stop the cross, and he's too busy putting his hands behind his back like he's doing a river dance. Then you can't keep your balance properly. Go and close the ball down and make sure you get the block.
Another corner for Aston Villa on the far side as we look at it. Bailey will take it. It'll be a left-footed in-swing delivery. Goes short instead to Douglas Luiz. Backwards now to Young. He's about midway inside the Tottenham half. The square ball to McGinn. Spurs have got everybody back behind the ball. McGinn, 30 yards, wriggles away from 2 and 3. Angle is tight. Chips in the cross. It's looping onto the roof of the net, and he very nearly caught out 6'7" Fraser Forster there. But how easy was it for McGinn to move from a position of relative safety to Spurs into the penalty area?
But that comes down to Harry Kane, because he's come back to help his Tottenham defence out. Harry Kane is the first one who engages John McGinn, and he just lets him drift past him. So as he's engaged, all of a sudden John McGinn's 5-6 yards beyond him. He couldn't quite wrap his left foot round it, miskicked it. In the end, it was quite easy for Fraser Forster to see it just drift over his crossbar.
There's live commentary right now of the League One playoff semi-final first leg on Talksport 2 between Bolton and Barnsley. Goalless it remains there. At 5:30 they'll bring you Sunderland against Luton in the Championship first leg, and then on Talksport 2 off to Salford against Stockport from League 2. And Tyrone Mings and Richarlison getting involved on the near side touchline. Richarlison wanted the ball back earlier for a Tottenham throw right in front of Ryan Mason, who's standing with his arms folded on the edge of the Spurs dugout. A lot of talk this week about Tottenham, about the culture of the club, values that have maybe been lost since the departure of Maurizio Pochettino. And Ryan Mason was pretty vocal in his belief that he agrees with Harry Kane about that. Here is Longley steering the ball wide towards Davis. Tottenham playing from left to right, but Martinez, the Aston Villa goalkeeper, has hardly had a touch. It's been Villa dominant in the opening minutes. Chipped forward by Emerson Royale, cleared away from the left back position by Alex Moreno. And the referee had spotted an offside flag, and Aston Villa have themselves a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area.
Yeah, just a little bit too straight there from Emerson Royale in the right back position. Pedro Porro just making a diagonal run. To be fair to Jacobs Ramsey, he did really well just to follow the run, but Porro had gone a little bit too early and he was flagged offside.
Live boxing on Talksport later tonight. KSI against Joe Fornier at Wembley Arena. And at 5:30 your chance to have your say. Whatever happens in the afternoon's football on the Game Day phone-in with Jamie O'Hara and Gabi Agbon-Lahore. There's a goal in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge. Johnny Clink.
And get this, Joe. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Taiwo Awoniyi has given Forest the lead. Lovely ball swung in from the left-hand side by Lodi, and there was Awoniyi to rise highest and nodded over Mendy and into the back of the net, and that could be a huge goal in Forest's push for safety. 13 minutes gone. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
Thanks, Ollie. It would take Nottingham Forest 5 points clear of the Premier League relegation zone as things stand, as Chelsea's poor home form continues. Aston Villa have won it back on the halfway line, though the referees pulled the play back for an earlier foul on Heung-min Son. Peter Banks surrounded by furious Villa players in claret and blue, but it won't change his decision.
Well, on first look, to be fair to John McGinn, that looked like it was shoulder to shoulder. So Heung-min Son just trying to push the ball past him, use his pace, and I thought that John McGinn did really well, just let into him with his shoulder. Peter Banks gave the free kick. He said they're surrounded by Aston Villa players, but he's not going to change his mind.
Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0, Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 0, Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 0, Wolves 0, Southampton 0, Fulham 0. So Southampton will be relegated as things stand. They have to win all 3 of their remaining matches to even stand a chance, and you just can't see it happening realistically. You're up to date in the Premier League. Live on Talksport, we've had 15 minutes this afternoon, a lovely bright afternoon in Birmingham. Here is Ben Davies for Tottenham in that left wing back position, with Perisic on the bench again today. No Eric Dyer for Tottenham, not in the squad. We're told that's injury related. And here is Romero midway inside his own half, and Tottenham finally getting a foot on the ball in the game, Perry Groves.
Yeah, when they're in possession, so they go back to their 3 centre halves with Pedro Porro wide on this right hand side.
And here he is jinking in field on the corner of the penalty area, trying to whip it across, almost trying to stab it into the penalty area with the outside of his foot, but it was blocked off. Industrious work by a combination of Ramsey, Alex Moreno and Douglas Luiz for Aston Villa. Aston Villa working really hard, and Unai Emery pacing up and down inside his technical area. Forward by Longley again, chipped hard in the middle. Mings had to stretch to head that clear. Back into the area by Son. Richarlison the angle against him. Alex Moreno came across from left to right to win it back. Did really well and plays it back to the feet of Konsa. Now Martinez, the goalkeeper, will hack it clear. First time right-footed. Alex Moreno, who keeps Luca Dean out of the side these days. Played in every Premier League match since joining the club from Real Betis in January. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0 on Talksport with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Everton against Man City, Arsenal against Brighton, live tomorrow for £11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. We'll have goals as they go in from the Premier League in the Sunday session tomorrow afternoon, which is live from Wembley ahead of the Women's FA Cup final between Chelsea and Manchester United. Before that, Coventry against Middlesbrough in the Championship playoff semi-final is live on Talksport. That's a noon start tomorrow lunchtime. Perry, what are you seeing? You're looking out intently out onto the field of play.
I'm just looking at Spurs. Ryan Mason looks like he wants them to close down, but as I said before, it's half-hearted, because I'm looking at Oliver Skipp and Højbjerg, 2 midfield players for Spurs, and when Harry Kane's pressing, Richarlison and Son are pressing, they're a good 40 yards away from them, so they've got to make sure that they're actually condensing play and they start to go to press, and if they bypass them two, you make sure that Spurs' 3 centre halves are just up on the halfway line.
Aston Villa have had 65% of the possession so far. Tottenham starting to see a little more of the ball there. Here's Pedro Porro deep inside opposition territory. Early cross from the right wing position is blocked by Alex Moreno. Tottenham playing towards that huge 2-tiered Holt end of the ground. A couple of banners behind that goal. Floated forward by Romero up the middle, headed away by Konsa. One of the banners says AVFC, the obsession. Another Holt end, the 12th man. And a great atmosphere around the stadium early on here, and understandably with the home team in front. Now Douglas Luiz crosses the halfway line. Again the angled ball to the near side, the left, and Alex Moreno, who's about 15 yards in front of us, shuffles back towards halfway, and Douglas Luiz, and now Mings at walking pace on the halfway line.
So the reason that Aston Villa are dominating possession is because they like to play quite narrow in their midfield, so John McGinn and Douglas Luiz are getting themselves on the ball, and what's happened is Skipp and Højbjerg are actually picking up Wendy and Jacob Ramsey, so that's why Douglas Luiz and John McGinn are not getting so much space. There's too much distance between Spurs' midfield and their front 3.
The ball is out of play for a throw to Tottenham in the right back position already. 3 Spurs subs warming up on the near side, including Dejan Kulusevski on the bench again today. Pedro Porro has a throw. It's midway inside his own half the field. Tottenham seem to have calmed the Aston Villa offensive down a little, but again they will look back at a poor start to a game that has them a goal behind. Pedro Porro with a sliced shank clearance, only as far as the halfway line, and Ashley Young, who easily gets there in front of Ben Davies and sends it all the way back to the goalkeeper Martinez. Martinez, little square pass to Tyrone Mings, who scoops it forward, intelligent ball to find Ramsey, who took that goal so beautifully to put Aston Villa in front. Now it's a little touch back by Buendia. John McGinn wriggles away from Son, and McGinn and Luiz are winning the midfield battle. Long ball by McGinn, high up the centre, and it's cut out by Emerson Royale.
Just looking at Ryan Mason, his coaching staff, they are screaming for Højbjerg and Oliver Skipp to push further up the pitch, and then they want their back 3 of Emerson Royal, Romero and Longley to actually squeeze Højbjerg and skip further up so they can condense the play where it's too easy for Aston Villa to get out.
Poor ball by Kane, tucked up the middle, all the way through to Martinez. Harry Kane, the second top scorer in Premier League history now. Here is Leon Bailey for Aston Villa, cutting inside onto his left foot as he loves to do. Now he's had to check back onto his right, hugging that far side touchline, and he's done well to evade the rather physical challenge of Davis. And Aston Villa recycle possession now with Konsa in the centre circle. We've had 20 minutes, if you're just joining us, on Talksport, where it's Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0, the latest score. Tottenham win it back on the halfway line with Richarlison. He has to check back to find Pedro Porro, and Talksport can take you to Old Trafford and John Dunn.
20 minutes gone here as well. Manchester United 0, Wolves 0. Manchester United enjoying plenty of possession, but the only chance of note coming from Anthony, a curling shot from the edge of the area. Wolves nearly scored with their first effort of the game. Craig Dawson from a corner, narrowly wide. Manchester United 0, Wolves 0.
Forward by Longley for Tottenham up the middle. Richarlison has got to it. The flag has stayed down. Alex Moreno gets back at him, but he's only managed to keep Richarlison from playing it square, albeit the offside flag does belatedly go up. Let's go to Selhurst Park in the Premier League. Latest there with Charlotte Richardson.
Palace 0, Bournemouth 0, even Stevens in every respect here. A very even opening at Selhurst Park, and little in the way of clear-cut opportunities to tell you about. It's Palace 0, Bournemouth 0.
And a must-win game in the Premier League for Southampton at St Mary's, Alex Crook.
Lots of empty seats, little sign of that fight from Southampton. Their manager Ruben Sellers has been promising us not a single chance at either end. Unforgivable, given that if Saints don't win, they're down. Southampton 0, Fulham 0.
It's been a dreadful season for Southampton, and that 11-year stay in the Premier League looks like coming to an end. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1 remains the latest score. Forest, as it stands, 5 points clear of the Premier League relegation zone. A long way still to go though this afternoon and in the season. Talksport will be with you every step of the way, right until the very end. Here's Mings on the halfway line. You haven't missed anything here at Villa Park. It's still Aston Villa who have that single goal advantage. Forward by Konsa to the number 10, Buendia. Skips away from Højbjerg, having dropped deep into a more central position. Now Douglas Luiz, left of centre. Moreno further wide. Moreno trying to cut in field away from Pedro Porro. He's got support from Mings, just has to tap it back to the feet of the big defender. Now Douglas Luiz again. Lots of time and space to chip the ball inside left channel towards Ramsey. Hooked away by Romero, who is always the favourite to get to it inside the penalty area. But there's some neat, intricate play at times from Aston Villa in and around the 18-yard box as McGinn fouls Harry Kane, and that will be the game's first yellow card.
Yeah, it's an unnecessary challenge there from John McGinn. Harry Kane just dropping deep, getting his body between John McGinn and the ball, just trying to flick it round the corner. John McGinn coming in from behind, giving Peter Banks referee no option but to dish out the yellow card. You mentioned there, Joe, about the intricate passing of Aston Villa, especially on this sort of left-hand side.
Yeah.
That's because Spurs aren't getting close enough. They're actually retreating obviously into their own half, but then when you get into your own half, you've got to make sure you go and engage the ball, and especially on this left where Jacob Ramsey then goes infield. That allows Moreno to come on the outside of him. Pedro Porro and Emerson Royal haven't got it sorted out on Spurs' right-hand side.
Here is Skip for Tottenham, midway inside his own half. Tottenham almost at walking pace here as they keep possession. White shirts, dark blue shorts in the Scottish Premiership today. Rangers 3-0 winners over Celtic, a measure of revenge for another Celtic title win. As Forster has to clear from the edge of his own penalty area, finds Emerson Royal in the right full-back position. Dundee United 0, Ross County 1 it remains. Everything else in the Scottish Premiership is 0-0. Here is Watkins, 35 yards out after Tottenham carelessly lost possession. Højbjerg there to win it back, and then it was almost a miscommunication with Romero. They left it for each other. Romero eventually stepped forward, and now Kane leading the counter. Through the middle to Son. Flag has stayed down. Son is going clear. Son will dummy the goalkeeper. He'll go round him. He'll put it against the post, and it's cleared away. Only as far as Kane. Kane shoots. Saved by Martinez. Away by Young. The flag goes up. Villa fans are fuming. 40,000 almost on their feet. Why didn't the flag go up earlier, they say?
Joe, you and myself can see
happening?
that was Harry Kane and Heung-min Son were at least 3 to 4 yards offside, and we're 60 yards away. You can hear the Villa faithful booing the assistant because Son goes through, You can tell he's way offside. It's a high line from Aston Villa. They're gambling, Contra and Mings, but obviously they got that one right. And then the thing that worries me about that is obviously the linesman is told that he's got to let it go, but then someone could get injured for no reason at all. They should actually just stop the play.
And it all came to nothing. And now we pull the play back to where it was initially, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa.
Yeah, it's just very frustrating because I think of VAR, obviously the assistants are told not to put their flag up too quickly, so they've always got that fallback. But that was ridiculous. That was so obvious. He could saved everybody about 30 seconds of time there.
Dundee United 1, Ross County 1 in the Scottish Premiership. A host of Scottish League playoff matches going on today. And Hamilton 0, Alloa 1 is the latest score in the Scottish Championship playoff second leg. Alloa 2-0 up on aggregate, though they are down to 10 men. And everything else in terms of the Scottish playoff matches is still 0-0. Here is Pedro Porro on the halfway line for Tottenham, dispossessed momentarily by Ramsey. The ball has stayed in play. Emerson Royale had to roll it back to Romero, who sent it to the feet of the giant goalkeeper Forster, all in bright yellow. And Villa Park has been raucous with excitement and with fury at different times in this game so far. But Aston Villa leads Spurs by a goal to 0 in the race for Europe. So Villa would move above Brighton into 7th and level on points with Tottenham, though Brighton would have 3 games in hand on both teams.
See the difference with both teams out of possession. Emerson Royale's got the ball just coming in probably about 10 yards from the halfway line.
As Tottenham go crossfield towards Pedro Porro, his header in field is dealt with by Mings. The loose ball drops to Kane. And Kane has chipped it left-hand channel towards Son. Great interception on the slide by Ashley Young. Did brilliantly there, the 37-year-old, sliding in to divert it away from Son. And the loose ball picked up by Emi Martinez.
Yeah, did well there. We said Ashley Young just coming in for that right-back position, making sure that Son can't get inside him. I just said earlier about Emerson Royale from Spurs having the ball 10 yards halfway line. There wasn't one Aston Villa player that was deeper than 15 yards from the halfway line in their own half, so they really condensed the play. They're gambling obviously with the offsides, but you can tell that Unai has worked on that in training because they just like to squeeze and condense the play, whereas Spurs, they're far too elongated.
It's Game Day Live in the Premier League, live on Talksport at Villa Park. And so much more to come between now and the end of the season. Monday night football on Talksport. Leicester against Liverpool, huge game at both ends of the table on Monday nights. And next week we've got the second leg of both Champions League semi-final ties as well. Talksport Breakfast, the place to be, 6 a.m. every day of the week. Here is Douglas Luiz steering it to the left-hand side of Moreno, on the outside of Skip. Can he get beyond Royale, who came across to make a challenge? Aston Villa win their 4th corner of the game, away to our left in front of the North Stand.
It is so easy for Aston Villa to get out of Spurs' press because what's happened is Spurs are having 4 players that are pressing, and then there's a massive gap, and you've got 6 players that, again, as I said before, 40-50 yards far too deep. And it's coming into John McGinn, it's coming into Douglas Luiz. They can play out to Ashley Young on the right hand side and Moreno on this left hand side. Very easy for Villa to get out.
Douglas Luiz with that claret and blue shirt will take the corner. Aston Villa fans on their feet, right-footed in swinging delivery in towards the near post, and Buendia. Last touch was off the sliding Højbjerg. Second corner in quick succession.
Right, he's got one more chance because he's actually frustrating me about missing the first.
He's done
man.
That twice, hasn't he?
Exactly, twice on the trot.
Well, they are looking for Buendia, I think.
They're trying to get Buendia to flick it on at near post, but it's got to miss the first man.
And it's a very low delivery with not much pace on it. Højbjerg got it away. Buendia has altered his position now. And Douglas Luiz, one arm up into the air, 5th corner of the game for Aston Villa. This one's whipped in, punched away by Forster from almost on his goal line. He's really capable of that, Douglas Luiz. Floated forward by Ashley Young. Forster will let that bounce and take the ball high inside his 6-yard box. Douglas Luiz, who has scored from corners in the past. Quick throw out to Ben Davies on the far side, the Tottenham left.
So later on, if KSI gets a haymaker like that, he'll be more than happy because that was a fantastic punch there from Fraser Forster under massive pressure from Tyrone Mings in front of him. Really good punch to the edge of the 18-yard box.
Live on Talksport, the boxing tonight from 9 at Wembley Arena.
Don't just throw this together, Joe.
Well, you've won the award for best stat of the day so far, that's for sure. It's not going to be beaten, I don't think.
Was that the Unai Emery?
Oh yeah. Forward.
I've got another one for you after 89 minutes. Remind me after 89 minutes.
All right. Well, we'll come back to you for that. That is for certain. Perry Groves, former Arsenal winger, alongside me today. made a habit of watching Tottenham in recent weeks, Perry and I. And here is McGinn, who's having an excellent game for Aston Villa. Shrugs aside the challenge of Kane midway inside his own half.
Look how deep Højbjerg and Oliver Skip are.
Very deep. Midway inside their own half the field. Tottenham effectively with 7 players behind the ball at the moment. And they're 1-0 down in a game that is huge for both teams in the race for European football. And who'd have thought Aston Villa would be in the conversation when Steven Gerrard was sacked in October? Alex Moreno's just having to tie his laces in front of us. Villa keep possession. There was actually a banner unfurled in the Tottenham away section before the game, protesting against the club's owners and telling them to go. As Ashley Young slides in firm but fair on Son, and Young was caught there by Son, who was looking to pirouette away. It was completely accidental, and that'll be, well, the referee certainly stopped the game anyway. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham is the score. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport Premier League coverage right now. Aston Villa 2-1 on to win, the draw at 3-1, Spurs 5-1 to come back and win. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Half an hour gone on Talksport. Let's go around the grounds in the Premier League. First to Stamford Bridge, latest there, Ollie Klink.
Yeah, it's still Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Half an hour gone. Chelsea have been putting the pressure on since Awoniyi's opener, Joe. About 5 minutes ago, we saw Lewis Hall have a drive at goal from just inside the box, but it was well blocked by the Forest defence, and there have been some long searching balls looking for the run of Raheem Sterling too. He's had a drive blocked as well, but Forest holding firm for the moment. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
They are 5 points clear as it stands of Leeds, who occupy 18th place. Aston Villa on the attack with play having resumed, out of play by Alex Moreno. Young was okay, by the way, to carry on. It's a goal kick to Tottenham, who trail by a goal to nil. Manchester United can go level on points with Newcastle with a victory today. How are they getting on against Wolves at Old Trafford, John Dunn?
31 minutes to go, Manchester United 0, Wolves 0, but it's all Manchester United, and Anthony is through on goal, squares it to Martial, who scores. It's a deserved goal. Anthony should have scored a moment ago, but he's on hand to provide the assist. Martial in for the injured Rashford, scores for the home side. Manchester United 1, Wolves 0.
Isn't that just perfect timing? Live on Talksport, goals as they go in. So Manchester United level on points with Newcastle as it stands. Here's Watkins in the penalty area for Aston Villa. Cuts it back. Bailey, brilliant save. And the rebound could yet come for Aston Villa. Longley and Skip smuggled it away. What a good save that was by Fraser Forster. 6'7". He had to plunge to his left-hand side. A glove on it to turn it away and prevent it from being 2-0.
Again, brilliant build-up play from Aston Villa. Buendia just setting Watkins away in that inside left position, just cutting the ball back. Bailey coming in from that right hand side, brilliant save and forced it down to his left hand side.
Aston Villa are looking for more, and Watkins has popped it through the middle towards Jacob Ramsey. Brilliant reverse pass through the centre. Emerson Royale had to come across, slide in and cut it out. Now it's Tottenham looking to counter. Long ball by Pedro Porro up the middle. That'll go through to Emi Martinez, and we will take you to Selhurst Park. Latest there with Charlotte Richardson.
It's Palace 0, Bournemouth 0. Palace turning up the attacking pressure. 2 great chances. Michael Olise producing a wicked left-footed delivery. So much whip and pace. His cross found Zaha unmarked at the back post. He couldn't connect, and then Mark Gay's goal-bound header cleared off the line just a couple of moments ago. No goals as yet. It's Palace 0, Bournemouth 0.
And Aston Villa looking to break into the box again. It was Watkins and Ramsey combining. Neat little 1-2 on the edge of the penalty area. Aston Villa look like they can score every time they come forward at the moment, Perry Groves. They've got a throw 5 yards from the corner flag right in front of our commentary position.
At the moment, Aston Villa just look better coached than Spurs, because Aston Villa, when Spurs are in possession, they're closing down in packs. Then Tyrone Mings and Konza make sure that they squeeze right up. They're playing a bit of a dangerous game actually when Spurs are in possession, because they're so high up the pitch, but they just condense the play, win the ball back early, and then they've got players spare. And I always say that teams mirror managers, Joe. When you see Aston Villa out of possession, Unai Emery's on his starting blocks in his technical area.
As Ramsey crosses from the dead ball line, and it was cleared away by Longley. Goalkeeper didn't come for it. Højbjerg left it at the near post, and it's belted behind by Longley, right-footed, for an Aston Villa corner. And Tottenham, 33.5 minutes into the game, a goal down, are a little all at sea here.
Well, on the plus side, at least they're not 3-0 down, are they? Because against Liverpool they were 5 down, weren't they?
True.
And against Newcastle they were 3-0 down.
And Liverpool 3-0 down, Newcastle 5 down. It's easy to get them mixed up. Corner on the near side for Aston Villa. It'll be taken by Douglas Luiz, this time 2 arms are up into the air. Maybe that's a signal for something different. Whipped in towards the far post, punched away by the goalkeeper. Foul on Harry Kane. So let's go down to St Mary's, where Southampton have to win today to keep the fight for survival alive. How are they getting on, Alex Crook?
Southampton 0, Fulham 0. Still pretty pitiful from the host. Carlos Alcaraz has just put a daisy cutter wide from 35 yards. Not as close as they've come to a goal. They could have conceded a penalty. Harry Wilson with a cross looked to have been handled by Lianco. No spot kick given. Southampton 0, Fulham 0.
Bolton 0, Barnsley 0. The latest score in the League One playoff semi-final, live on Talksport 2. They're off and underway at Wembley Stadium in the National League playoff final. Chesterfield 0, Notts County 0 is a latest score in a 3:30 kick-off. And there's been a goal at Hamilton in the Scottish Championship playoff semi-final. Hamilton 0, the 10 men of Alloa 2. Alloa lead 3-0 on aggregate. Here is Conser on the halfway line for Aston Villa. Well, 10 minutes of the first half remaining, and I suppose the only thing that Unai Emery is going to be frustrated about is that Aston Villa haven't added further goals. They're looking for another one here through Alex Moreno, level the edge of the 6-yard box, whips it across left-footed, but it's too close to Fraser Forster.
Yeah, Pedro Porro just managed to get a little block on it, just sailed easily into Fraser Forster's hands. We're just looking again, Fraser Forster got the ball in his hands. You can see that Buendia, Watkins are on their starting blocks. Then they make sure that John McGinn and Douglas Luiz are further up the pitch for Jacobs Ramsey, make it very difficult for Spurs to get out, and it goes straight to Konza.
The ball is with Aston Villa now on the halfway line. Aston Villa and Tottenham level on 57 points as things stand. Spurs have a slightly better goal difference. There's a free kick to Tottenham. Let's get a go to Wembley, where there's a penalty in Abrahams.
Penalty to Chesterfield. Chesterfield 0, Notts County 0. 5 on the clock. Andrew Dallas was brought down by the goalkeeper Sam Slocum. I don't think there was too many complaints about it really, but Slocum didn't like the decision. But now an opportunity from the penalty spot for Dallas to score and put Notts County ahead here. Remember, the winners go into the EFL alongside Wrexham. The referee just making sure everyone's outside the penalty area. It's the second big opportunity they've had. Dallas steps up, hits the ball right-footed, straight down the middle, and Chesterfield, 23 points adrift in the regular season. Notts County has drawn first blood at Wembley. Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0 in the promotion final.
Is Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0, live on Talksport with Villa on the attack. It's forward by Young towards Bailey. Bailey's right-footed cross to the far post, headed away by Pedro Porro as Alex Moreno looked to volley it goalwards. Tottenham smuggle the ball clear up to the midway point of their own half. They've been on the back foot for most of this first period, Spurs, up to this point. Kane turning away from Konsa in the centre circle. Unbelievable, by the way, as Ian Abrahams was saying, a huge difference between the points that Chesterfield and Notts County picked up in the National League in the regular season. Notts County won 107 points and they're behind in the playoff final. Unbelievable. Here is Longley for Tottenham, edge of his own penalty area. Forward now to Ben Davis in the left wing back position. Back to Longley again. Longley skips away from Buendia, has to try and check back in field, but Aston Villa pressing very high. They've won it back out the pitch. Bailey's darting in field from the right hand side, lays it square to McGinn, now onto the edge of the box now, and Buendia, he's blocked off by Davis. Lovely football from Aston Villa. Tottenham have given it away. Tottenham have been a shambles at times in the first half.
Yeah, and it's brilliant closing down from Aston Villa. There's the difference. The two centre midfield players for Villa, John McGinn and Douglas Luiz. John McGinn is up nearly level with his forwards, and what happens is Douglas Luiz then goes on to Harry Kane, so Spurs can't get out.
Forward by Buendia now, inside left channel looking for Ramsey, overhits, out to play, goal kick. Hamilton with a goal back against Alloa in the Scottish Championship playoff semi-final, but Hamilton 3-1 down to Alloa on aggregate. And it's Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0 on Talksport here with Car Finance 24/7 in your corner throughout your car buying journey. Search Car Finance 24/7 today.
Aston Villa got the press on, obviously it's a goal kick from Spurs. If Fraser Forster does it quicker, Spurs are then 4v4. You can see Harry Kane shouting at Fraser Forster just basically to lump it down the pitch, because obviously he can go and stand in an offside position to try and make Aston Villa drop off, and Fraser Forster's just too slow.
Ball is with Martinez, the Aston Villa goalkeeper. He manages to shepherd the ball forward to Konsa. Konsa right hand edge of his own 18-yard box beneath bright and sunny skies. Long ball downfield headed away by Romero for Tottenham from the halfway line, and then McGinn converged upon by Pedro Porro. McGinn is dominating the middle of the park at the moment, and he's thoroughly enjoying himself. He wanted to take the free kick quickly. Referee says no, and Aston Villa will have to send it back to the midway point of their own half. Ryan Mason looking a concerned figure on the edge of his technical area, Perry, with 5.5 minutes of the first half to go.
Well, you can, just from this first half performance from Spurs, you can see why they haven't won in 6 last Premier League away games, conceding 19 goals, because they're so disjointed. You can't tell whether they want to sit back and absorb pressure, they want to go and press, because they're caught in between. As you said there, John McGinn in the centre midfield there and Douglas Luiz are totally dominating the game.
St Mirren 1, Hearts 0 is the latest score. There's been a goal at Selhurst Park in the Premier League. Charlotte Richardson.
Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0. Eze breaks the deadlock here. A stylish team goal. Fantastic work down the left-hand side by Zara. A lovely little back heel by Ayew, and Eze was there to tap home. Palace 1, Bournemouth 0.
Aston Villa on the attack here, looking for a second goal. Alex Moreno crosses! Headed wide by Watkins. What a ball that was by Alex Moreno. Fizzed in on the half volley. Firm and true. 6-yard box. Watkins glancing touch. Couldn't turn it in. Goal kick.
As you said there, Joe, that's the ball of the half. Moreno in that advanced position on the left-hand side. As the ball bounces up, he just cuts across it with his left foot. He smacks the volley across the 6-yard box. Ollie Watkins just can't quite get his full extension on his neck out to get his forehead on it. Just goes across his forehead, doesn't hit the target. Again, really good incisive play from Aston Villa.
St Mirren 1, Hearts 0 is the latest score in the Scottish Premiership. Hamilton 2, Alloa 2 in the Championship playoffs in Scotland, but Alloa 3-2 ahead on aggregate, but they are down to 10 men, and of course they were 3-0 up on aggregate until a few minutes ago. So Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0 you heard, Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Forest as it stands 5 points clear of the relegation zone. Southampton 0, Fulham 0, so Southampton will be relegated today as things stand. Manchester United lead Wolves by 1-0, so Manchester United level on points with Newcastle, both on 66, the two other sides in the top 4 besides Arsenal and Manchester City. Liverpool in 5th, 4 points off the top 4 as it stands. Tottenham in 6th, level on points with Aston Villa, and Brighton not far behind, just a couple of points behind both teams, though Brighton have 3 games in hand. And that in part is why today is so important, and why it really is certainly a must not lose for Tottenham, Perry.
Yeah, I'd just say Aston Villa, if they win today, go level points with Spurs. And at the moment, the 2 holding midfield players of both teams, John McGinn and Douglas Luiz, are giving Højbjerg and Oliver Skipp an absolute lesson how to play that position.
And it's Alex Moreno with the ball in field from the left wing position, this time given away. 3 minutes of normal time remaining at the end of the first half. Unai Emery barking instructions from the near side of the field. Falkirk 0, Airdrieonians 1 in the Scottish Championship playoff semi-final second leg. Airdrieonians now 7-2 up on aggregate in that time. Aston Villa have got it back with Buendia, 30 yards from goal, dead centre, wide to Ramsey, corner of the penalty area, Ramsey back to Buendia, off the woodwork. First time left-footed effort. Aston Villa getting closer and closer, but they just can't find that second goal. They are dominating Tottenham.
It all started because Oliver Skipp got caught on the ball by Buendia, picked his pocket. In the end, it's good little interchange to Ollie Watkins, just lays it off to Buendia. Just gets it out to the left-hand side, back to Buendia. And so he just tried to bend it with his left foot. He's got Fraser Forster at full stretch going up to his right-hand side. Just cannons off the crossbar. Very unlucky from Aston Villa, and again, brilliant build-up from him.
And the Tottenham fans are turning their attention to the owners of the club and chanting against them here. "We want Levy out," I think was the chant from the away section. Here is McGinn on the halfway line for Aston Villa, who are much the better team. They've had many chances to further their lead, and they may get another opportunity here. Alex Moreno, who's been dangerous throughout, left on edge of the penalty area, taking on Pedro Porro. This time he almost forgot to take the ball with him, and Pedro Porro will clear calmly to the feet of Heung-min Son, midway inside his own half of the field, and Tottenham will play it very neatly, actually, away from danger.
He did well there, Pedro Porro. Just make sure he didn't dive in, because Alex Moreno on this left-hand side's had the measure of Pedro Porro. Every time he gets the ball, just looks to whip the cross in.
You can see the Tottenham fans, they're occupying a couple of tiers of the Doug Ellis stand on the far side, and really frustrated those in the lower tier with Davis, because he got the ball in the left wing back position. He had lots of space to run into, but checked back inside instead. In fairness, he is a man who's played most of the last couple of seasons as a left-sided centre-half, not a left wing back. Here is Longley on the halfway line, plays it through the middle towards Son, but that pass is overhit. Easy for Martinez. Martinez has not had a save to make in the 44.5 minutes of the game so far.
Again, it's Aston Villa keeping that really high line. They've been really well drilled and marshalled by Unai Emery. Make sure there's pressure on the ball, then they can squeeze up.
Here is Ashley Young, almost unchallenged for Aston Villa. Threading the ball wide to the right-hand side, and Bailey's got the pace to take on Davis. Couple of step-overs, left-footed cross, high to the far post, away by Emerson Royale. Drops down to Douglas Luiz. Overhead kick, brilliant to play it square to Moreno. Moreno floats in the cross this time. Davis didn't get there far post, and in the end, Forster is able to catch it high above his head because it was a miscue by Bailey, who scooped it into the air. 2 minutes of added time. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0, but Aston Villa should have scored more goals.
Yeah, well, this half-time whistle from Peter Banks can't come quick enough for the Spurs players, because the only positive I can see from Spurs' point of view, that they're only 1-0 down. You said there, Martinez hasn't had a save to make. It's been totally dominant from Aston Villa, and I think Unai Emery will be quite disappointed that his team aren't further in front.
Adrian Durham live at Wembley Stadium today will bring you all the half-time scores. Son is charging inside left channel again. He's got Richarlison in support. They want a flag to Villa. Son edge of the penalty area, plays it square towards Pedro Porro. The flag goes up belatedly again. And a free kick to Aston Villa. We've seen that 2 or 3 times across the game so far.
Yeah, Alex Moreno did really well in the left back position, made sure he didn't drop too deep. So Villa make sure that Ashley Young and Moreno don't drop him behind their centre halves again. Son just got to time his run better. He's a good 1.5 yards, 2 yards offside.
Hamilton 3, Alloa 2 in the Scottish Championship playoff semi-final second leg. So that's 3-3 on aggregate. Amazing comeback from Hamilton. They were 2-0 down on the day, 3 down on aggregate at one stage against the 10 men of Alloa, but they have come back to level that tie. And Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0 it remains in the National League playoff final at Wembley. That was a 3:30 start. We'll keep you up to date. Bolton 0, Barnsley 0 in the League One playoff semi-final, live on Talksport 2 right now. And they've got commentary of Sunderland against Luton in the Championship semi, and Salford against Stockport in League 2 to come later. A 4th for Hamilton against Alloa, and now they're 4-3 ahead on aggregate. There's a free kick to Aston Villa far side, their right wing position. And they're not in any rush to take it, because we've just about had the 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, and of course Aston Villa with the lead as the referee does blow the half-time whistle, and boos from the away section, but a very impressive display from Aston Villa as they seek their 6th successive Premier League win at home. Unai Emery strides purposefully right down in front of us towards the tunnel that's right by the corner flag here at Aston Villa. A performance of great dynamism and purpose. Jacob Ramsey with a fine goal to put them in front early on. They should have doubled that lead. Bailey, Watkins and Buendia all going very close. Tottenham have been anonymous and unlucky really not to be in more difficulty than they are already. As it stands, Villa going level with Tottenham on points in the race for Europe. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0 at half-time.
Well, back here at Wembley, it is Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0. 17 minutes gone from a 3:30 kick-off, but half-time whistles are blowing up and down the country. 1-0 in our commentary game. Aston Villa leading Spurs. It's half-time as well at St Mary's in the Premier League. Talksport's Alex Brooke.
Southampton 0, Fulham 0. As poor a game as the scoreline suggests. Southampton, despite the fact they have to win to stay up, have been dreadful. A tame long-range effort from big Paul Onuachu, easily saved by Bernd Leno. Their only attempt on target. At the other end, Harry Wilson's cross maybe was handled by Lianco. The on-field referee Thomas Bramall didn't bow to Fulham's penalty claims, nor did the VAR. Willian has had a volley cleared off the line by Lianco. They look the more likely to open the scoring. The Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, a massive Southampton fan, he's here today, but at the moment Saints' time as Premier is coming to an end. Southampton 0, Fulham 0.
Yeah, yet another change in the Premier. We have a corner to Chesterfield here. They lead 1-0 against Notts County. We've got half-time at Old Trafford. John Dunn.
Manchester United 1, Wolves 0. Deserved lead then at the break for United as they look to claim a Champions League spot. Dominated possession throughout that first half, and as the half wore on, started to create chances. Bruno Fernandes with a 25-yard free kick saved by debutant goalkeeper Daniel Bentley. Anthony twice came close, the second of which he really should have scored a free header from 6 yards out. That was over the bar, but the Brazilian provided the assist for the goal. 32 minutes in, he was sent through down the right-hand side of the penalty area, squared it to Anthony Martial, in for the injured Rashford. He ended a 9-game run without a goal by slotting the ball into the net. Wolves could have taken an early lead, a rare attack for them. It was from a corner, but Craig Dawson's effort narrowly wide. Half-time, Manchester United 1, Wolves 0.
Live on Talksport 2, the League One playoff semi-final first leg. Half-time is Bolton 0, Barnsley 0. Half-time in the Premier League at Stamford Bridge with Ray Parlour and Ollie Klink.
Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1 at the break. Boos ringing out here from the home fans at the half-time whistle. But Forest fighting for their Premier League status, and if it stays like this, they'll move 5 points clear of the drop. They lead through Taiwo Awoniyi. He headed home Renan Lodi's cross over Edouard Mendy in the 11th minute. Chelsea tried to respond. João Felix had a header saved by Navas just after that half-hour mark, but the Blues are stuttering at the bridge once again. They haven't shown enough in this game. I've been watching next to Arsenal invincible Ray Parlour. Ray, Forest will be delighted with that lead, but what have you made of Chelsea?
They've been really poor in this first half. You could sense the fans are getting really frustrated alongside us, and the half-time whistle goes and a few boos around Chelsea. They're not happy at the moment. I think they've had one shot on target the whole game, no corners. Nottingham Forest have played really well. They've done what they had to do. They've got the early goal, and then they sat back, and defence has not really looked troubled at all. Felix is trying to come deep. Sterling's not made enough runs on the left, and it's just been so disjointed. Kovacic has gone off as well for Chelsea. He's probably been one of the better players for Chelsea, but certainly Frank Lampard, I don't know what he's going to say half-time, but Steve Cooper is absolutely delighted. And the away fans to our left-hand side are certainly really making a load of noise and really getting behind their team.
For Forest, they haven't really been troubled, as you say, but they soaked up a lot of pressure in that first half. Do you think in the second half they could show even a bit more attacking intent?
Well, at the moment it's 1-0. I mean, 3 points is the most important thing for any club at the bottom fighting relegation, is to get the win. They've seen Leeds obviously get the point beforehand. If they can get 3 points, it's a massive step towards safety. So I think Steve Cooper would be saying, look, Chelsea might take a few more chances in the second half. Maybe we can hit him on the break. But at the moment, they'd be very, very happy how it's all going. And 45 minutes from a massive win for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, big second half on the way for Forest. At the bridge at half-time, it's Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1.
And also in the Premier League, it's half-time at Selhurst Park for Talksport, Charlotte Richardson.
Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0. It took 39 minutes for the deadlock to be broken, and it was a classy team goal worth waiting for. Skipper Wilfried Zaha produced an ice-cold Cruyff turn, passing it into the path of Jordan Ayew, who coolly backheeled the ball to Eze, who tapped home from close range. A deserved lead for the hosts, who've offered much more than the visitors in the final third in this opening 45 minutes. At the break, it's Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0.
St Mirren right on half-time get a second against Hearts in the 49th minute. In fact, Ryan Strain with it. St Mirren 2, Hearts 0. All the half-times are coming up. Latest here at Wembley alongside me, Ian Abrahams.
22 gone. Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0. Notts County have lost in 3 previous playoff campaigns. They don't want to lose here today, but they're a goal down. Andrew Dallas's penalty inside 6 minutes. He was brought down by Sam Slocum. They were appealing for a handball inside the Notts County penalty area against Dallas, but he got up and he took the penalty and slammed it down the middle. Macaulay Longstaff has had no service at all so far, nor has Rodriguez or indeed Sam Austin. Notts County, Adrian, have not really got going. 40,000 here at Wembley. Most of them are Notts County fans, as to be said, but those from the Spire City are at the moment enjoying themselves. Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0.
Yeah, Notts County lacklustre, I think, is the way to describe them in the first 20 minutes or so here at Wembley, where Chesterfield lead by a goal to 0. Let's check in on the rugby. Gallagher Premiership semi-final weekend. Andrew McKenna.
Halfway through the first half here, Adrian. Saracens 7, Northampton 3. Sean Maitland with a try after 6 minutes after Alex Good kicked through. He gathered that loose ball and put it down. Farrell converted. But that came 4 minutes before Sean Maitland actually should maybe have been off the pitch from 30 seconds into the game. High ball kicked by Northampton, and Maitland went up for it and went clattering into Furbank. didn't see a card of any kind, despite the fact he never looked at where the ball was whatsoever. Seen those given this year, so maybe he shouldn't have been on the pitch. Saints do have a penalty through Finn Smith. Good game this, both sides going at it. Halfway through the first half, Saracens 7, Northampton 3.
And before all the half-times, let's get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. When you bet fair on football, get a completely free £2 bet builder on any Premier League game this weekend. Opt-in required. Minimum combined odds 1.5. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
So Sam Rosbottom from Betfair in our live game on Talksport. Aston Villa lead Spurs by 1-0.
Yeah, and they've been backed into really short odds on now. They're 2-5. Fantastic performance from Unai Emery's side in that first half. I'm sure they'll be a little disappointed that they're not further ahead, to be honest with you. Spurs all the way out to 8-1 now to turn this around and get the 3 points. The draw currently 3-1. If Spurs are to get back into it, then they're going to be looking towards their talisman, Harry Kane. Over on the Sportsbook, we've odds boosted him to score at any point in the second half. That's now 11-4. And of course, Adrian, we've got our charity bet builder. We're raising money for the Bobby Moore Fund. We've backed Villa to win, Ollie Watkins to score any time, and both teams to score yes. A reminder that we backed that at just over 9-2, so our £50 charity stake could return £286 if all three land. We need a little bit of work though on that in the second half, but fingers crossed that one comes in.
Yep, still time for that to come off. Sam, thanks very much for that odds update. It's all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only. Conditions apply. And go to begambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. When you bet fair on football, get a completely free £2 bet builder on any Premier League game this weekend. Opt-in required. Minimum combined odds 1.5. T's and C's apply. 18 plus. BeGambleAware.org.
This is Game Day. Half-time classifieds.
In the Premier League, a full time from earlier. Live on Talksport, it finished Leeds 2, Newcastle 2. Half times now. Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0. Second half coming up live on Talksport. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0. Manchester United 1, Wolves 0. Southampton 0, Fulham 0. In the playoffs in the Championship, Sunderland Luton is at 5:30 on Talksport 2. League 1 at half-time, Bolton 0, Barnsley 0. Second half coming up on Talksport 2. And in League 2, Salford Stockport is tonight at 7:45, again live on Talksport 2. In the National League final, playoff final, here at Wembley, it's Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0. We are 26 minutes into the game. Scottish Premiership, full-time from earlier, Rangers 3, Celtic 0. Half-times, Aberdeen 0, Hibs 0. Dundee United 1, Ross County 1. Kilmarnock 0, Livingston 0. St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 0. St Mirren 2, Hearts 0. Scottish Championship playoff second legs, Falkirk 0, Airdrie 1. That means Airdrie are 7-2 up on aggregate. And Hamilton 4, Alloa 2. And that means Hamilton are 4-3 up on aggregate. Scottish League 1 playoff second leg, Dumbarton 0, Annan Athletic 0. Annan Athletic won the first leg 6-0. And Scottish League 2 playoff first leg, the Spartans 0, Albion Rovers 1.
Game Day exclusive on Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. They'll take care of the money stuff, so you can focus on finding your dream car. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Representative APR 19.9%. Car Finance 24/7 is a credit broker, not a lender.
Hello, my friend. Life comes at you fast, so make time for you time with Just Eat. For early times, lunch times, late times, strange times. The perfect times for the McDonald's Sausage and Egg McMuffin, Five Guys Cheeseburger and Strawberry Shake, Domino's Pepperoni Passion, plus more from Costa Coffee, Creams Cafe and Pizza Express. So order now, later, in a bit, whenever. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Product subject to availability in restaurant and serving times. Participating stores only. See justeat.co.uk for details.
And he's barreled it straight through the midfield into the Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone, the home of big screen live football. A long volley over the stadium seats by the giant screens into the left-hand corner of the bar. Past a winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Result! Enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in! Conditions apply. 18 plus. Always drink responsibly.
We got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In May, we've got Stone Market Natural Stone Paving Project Packs at £18.99 per square metre ex VAT. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
That charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
The new season is here, and The Times on Saturday has all the big interviews, insightful analysis, and stats you need to set you up for a perfect weekend of Premier League action. Subscribe today at thetimes.co.uk/football for provocative and compelling opinions from the best sports writers in the business, including James Gibbrandt, Owen Slott, and the voice of football, Henry Winter.
Lovely bit of football.
Try it free for 1 month at thetimes.co.uk/football. Auto renews at £26 a month unless cancelled. T's and C's apply.
We all found about our perfect home, watching the big game cozied up in the snug, balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real life football.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
This football season, get a hand from Betfair's popular Bet Builder and easily add our fan favourite football selections to your bet slip in just one tap. And you could get a completely free £2 Bet Builder on any Premier League game this weekend. Now that's handy. Betfair.
Max 1 per customer. Minimum combined odds of 1.5. Opt-in required. T's and C's apply. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Rodri to De Bruyne. Flicked on to Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with a Now Sports membership. Stream the Premier League live without a contract from $11.99. Search Now Sports. 18 plus. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
On DAB, online, and on your smart speaker. Talksport.
Well, tonight Talksport brings you live an exclusive radio commentary of KSI versus Joe Fournier at Wembley Arena. Our coverage will be brought to you courtesy of presenter Gareth A. Davis, current heavyweight Johnny Fisher, and our commentary team of Andy Clark and Spencer Oliver. That's KSI versus Joe Fournier, live and exclusive on Talksport tonight from 9 p.m. Let's focus on the football for now, though. As it stands, Southampton are getting relegated. Updates on a big Premier League afternoon during our commentary of Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0, second half, live and exclusive on Talksport with Perry Groves and Joe Shenham.
And as it stands, Aston Villa will move level on Tottenham, with Tottenham on 57 points in the race for Europe. And actually, since Unai Emery first took charge of a Premier League game in early November, only Arsenal, Manchester City and Liverpool have picked up more points. They're heading for 45 points picked up under Unai Emery in the Premier League since he took charge, Aston Villa. So they've gone from where they were under Steven Gerrard, which was potentially slipping towards relegation, to within a genuine chance here, Aston Villa, of finishing in European places and playing European football for the first time since 2010-2011, Perry Groves.
Yeah, well, you can tell that under Steven Gerrard, he didn't know what his best 11 was, he didn't know what his best formation was, he wasn't very good tactically. Apart from that, you know, he's doing a decent job. Unai Emery comes in, straight away he gets to see what his best formation is. He likes his 4-4-2, whether it's the standard 4-4-2 with two wide men or a box in midfield. He likes his team to press high up the pitch. He likes his team to be very sharp in possession. You can see it's been a brilliant example of that in the first half today. But you have to say as well that Spurs have been that bad. They can't be as bad, surely, in this second half.
A huge 45 minutes in the season to come, live right here on Talksport. We'll be around the grounds elsewhere in the Premier League as well. Aston Villa have kicked off the second half from left to right towards the Holt end in claret and blue with white shorts. Tottenham in their traditional home colours as well, white shorts, dark blue white shirts, dark blue shorts and white socks. And Spurs playing from right to left towards the north end of the stadium. Lots of spectators still making their way back to their seats. There's a problem here straight away for, it looks like, Buendia, who's went down and now has got back up on his feet, and I think he's going to be okay to carry on. So no changes for either side into the second half now. Aston Villa with Martinez in goal. Buendia is okay. Young, Konsa, Mings and Alex Moreno the back four, with Bailey, McGinn, Douglas Luiz and the goal scorer Ramsey in support of Buendia and Watkins up front for Tottenham. Forster in goal. Emerson Royal, Romero and Longley the defenders. Pedro Porro and Davis the wing-backs. Skip and Højbjerg in midfield. Richarlison, Kane and Son in attack, and Tottenham didn't have a shot on goal in the first half. Here come Aston Villa on the attack with Buendia, edge of the penalty area, into Ramsey, brilliant last-ditch challenge by Romero. Corner to Aston Villa, there's been a goal at St Mary's, Alex Crook.
Could be all over for Southampton. Southampton 0, Fulham 1. It was Harry Wilson who led the charge down the right-hand side, cut the ball back into the area. Harrison Reed picked out Carlos Vinicius. He tucked in from 6 yards out. Southampton have to win to stand any chance of survival. They are behind. It is Southampton 0, Fulham 1.
Southampton heading down, corner for Aston Villa. Douglas Luiz to Young at the far post, who actually completely miscued that, tried to smack it home on the volley, got it all wrong. Tottenham clear. Then there's a foul on it looks like Pedro Porro midway inside his own half the field, and a free kick to Spurs.
Yeah, really well worked from the corner from Villa's left-hand side. So Douglas Luiz is drilling it out to Ashley Young, who spun round the back on the edge of the 18-yard box, and some of his quality, you expect him to hit the target with his volley, completely miskicked it. Spurs were able to clear.
So Southampton heading for Premier League relegation today. We'll keep you up to date across the rest of the afternoon on Talksport. Talksport 2 has commentary of the League One playoff semi-final first leg between Bolton and Barnsley. They're back underway there, and it's still 0-0. Once that's done, Talksport 2 off to Sunderland against Luton, and then Salford against Stockport. Aston Villa coming forward here. They've started the second half well, just like they did the first. Douglas Luiz, 5 yards to the edge of the D, dead centre. Lays it square to McGinn. Faced up by a sea of white shirts, but he still finds Buendia. Tottenham camped deep inside their own half the field at the moment. A goal down to their rivals for European football. Tottenham without an away win in the Premier League since the latter part of January, the 23rd of January to be precise, when they went to Fulham and won by a goal to nil. But as we all know, Tottenham are very much a second half team, certainly in terms of scoring goals. Lovely ball, reverse pass by Watkins to set up Buendia, and now Bailey down by the dead ball line, skips away from the defender. Bailey onto his left foot, thought about a shot, lays it back to John McGinn to rifle one, and he didn't quite catch that right. He sliced it behind. It's a goal kick to Tottenham. Kilmarnock 1, Livingston 0, a latest score in the Scottish Premiership, and here's Perry Groves.
Yes, really good play from Aston Villa on their right hand side. Great ball drilled in from Ashley Young into Watkins. You said there, just span it round the corner to Leon Bailey. Again, he's had Ben Davis on toast, because Ben Davis not getting close enough to him, cuts inside, tries to get his left foot shot away, ends up completely miscuing it.
And Forster will belt the ball long, the Tottenham goalkeeper, headed down by John McGinn. Aston Villa seem first to every second ball at the moment. Ryan Mason pacing up and down in his technical area, the Tottenham boss.
Well, I'm looking at it. Aston Villa, they have like the double pivot, don't they, and the holding midfield players, Douglas Luiz and John McGinn. And Spurs have a double appendix, because you've got Højbjerg and Skip in there, and they don't actually do anything. You know what I mean? They're just there for no particular reason.
We've got to press as a team, haven't you, Perry?
Well, they're sitting back, so when Spurs press, they press as a 4, and then you look, and then they've got 6 way beyond the halfway line, you know, probably 50 yards away. When Aston Villa do it, you can see now Aston Villa are completely condensed, so there's nowhere for Spurs to pass through.
Tottenham's away form has been particularly poor in recent months, headed away by Mings for Aston Villa. It's won back by Pedro Porro to the penalty area, but it's well intercepted by Mings, who recovered to get it clear for Aston Villa. As I say, on the edge of his own box. Then there's a tangle of legs involving Ramsey and Emerson Royal, and the free kick goes Aston Villa's way in their left back position. Tottenham, ironically, do have a great record on this ground. They've won each of their last 7 Premier League visits to Aston Villa. In fact, Villa looking for their first home league win over Tottenham since New Year's Day 2008. So they've had a long wait for a victory here against Spurs, but much the better side, leading 1-0 on Talksport 5 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, and Spurs have scored at least 2 goals in those 7 games. They haven't looked like getting a corner. No shots on target, no corners at all.
Perry's stat man Groves. I'm waiting for that 89th minute one, by the way. I haven't forgotten. Forward by Douglas Luiz for Aston Villa, clipped down the inside left channel. Early ball by Alex Moreno. Buendia couldn't control it. It's nudged to further square, further wide to the right now by Watkins to find Bailey in the shadow of the giant Holt end. Playing from left to right, Aston Villa in this second half. The Holt end on its feet. Now Buendia, dynamic footwork, good effort, left-footed, parried away by Forster. It was the save you'd expect Forster to make, but he had to spring across to turn it away. Aston Villa had possession back again with Mings. 1-0 they lead in the bright Birmingham sunshine with not a cloud in the sky up ahead. Absolutely lovely May day. And now Buendia spinning away from the challenge of Højbjerg, 30 yards out, knocking it through the middle. Too much on that for Watkins, easy for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think Fraser Forster actually should have caught the shot from Buendia. He made it look harder than it really was. It was run for the cameras. And in the end, it's Buendia trying to fire it into Ollie Watkins, just overhits it, goes through to Fraser Forster.
Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. It remains in the Premier League. Forest will be 5 points clear of the Premier League relegation zone as things stand, though Everton and Leicester would have games in hand on them. Leicester, who play Liverpool in the Monday Night Football live on Talksport. We've got all the big games. Villa have given it away. Here's Harry Kane through the middle. What a save! Martinez comes out to Højbjerg, and now Son, close range, twists, turns, Højbjerg again. His shot is blocked. Well, what an amazing save that was by Emi Martinez, and he pumps the air with both his fists. Like he scored a goal, he certainly prevented one to deny Harry Kane, and Tottenham have finally had an effort on goal. Here they come on the attack again with Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale crosses, hacked away by Tyrone Mings. Tottenham's best chance so far. Villa lead by a goal to nil, and there's a bit of goal at Stamford Bridge. Here's Ollie Klink.
Chelsea 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Equaliser for the home side, and it's Raheem Sterling who's got them level. Trevor Chalobah drove to the byline on the right hand side, inside the box. He laid it back across goal, and there was Sterling to drive it home via a deflection, and the Blues have got level in this game. 6 minutes into the second half, Chelsea 1, Nottingham Forest 1.
And so Forest's cushion to the bottom three is now just a 3-point one. There's a yellow card out of the pocket of the referee here in the direction of Oliver Skipp, and a free kick to Aston Villa just shy of the halfway line. What about that save from Martinez, Perry?
Joe, that's a brilliant example of why I don't gamble, because I would have put my house on Harry Kane scoring there. 1v1 with Martinez. Martinez made sure he stayed nice and big. I thought Harry Kane was giving him the eyes. In the end, it was a simple save from Martinez. He spread himself, and that was all because Højbjerg actually was high up the pitch for a change, and he robbed Douglas Luiz when Villa were trying to play out.
St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 1 in the Scottish Premiership. Header away by Mings from midway inside his own half. Harry Kane has been in such impressive goal-scoring form. Aston Villa looking impressive on the attack here again, though. It's Buendia playing it from a central position towards the left-hand corner of the penalty area, but it was overhit. It evades Watkins, it evades the late run of Jacob Ramsey as well, and Emerson Royale will see it behind for a goal kick to Tottenham.
I'm just looking at John McGinn, Joe, and I can't remember him making a mistake in that centre midfield area. You know, where it's all tight. Even then, he gets the ball, just spins away from Oliver Skipp's ice. He's not there. He's completely dominated that central midfield area.
Clearance by Forster, who slips as he does so to belt it high upfield. Header away by Conser from midway inside his own half for Aston Villa. The ball is plucked out of the air cleverly and neatly by Watkins. He's got Ramsey making a run ahead of him. Here is Jacob Ramsey, corner of the penalty area, gets the dead ball line, low ball in, turned away by a sliding Romero. Ryan Mason, arms outstretched, an almost exasperated look on the face of the Tottenham interim boss. But Unai Emery's Aston Villa are looking for a second goal that might well be enough to make the point safe, 10 minutes into the second half.
Good defending by Christian Romero there, just make sure he stayed on his feet initially. Jacob Ramsey trying to go on the outside of him, slides in, corner for Aston Villa over on the left hand side.
7th corner of the game. At the Holt end of the ground, one arm up into the air from Douglas Luiz. It'll be that right-footed in-swing delivery into the near post again. Good diving header away by Højbjerg. Son tries to reach the loose ball, but he's beaten to it by a very tenacious and very diligent Jacob Ramsey tracking back. Then it's pumped long by Martinez, high downfield, a pointless ball all the way through to the Tottenham goalkeeper Fraser Forster. Leeds 2, Newcastle 2, a result from earlier. So Leeds still in the drop zone. Chelsea 1, Nottingham Forest 1, a latest score. Crystal Palace 1, Bournemouth 0 into the second half there. Manchester United lead Wolves by a goal to nil in the Premier League. So they're level on points with Newcastle in third. Southampton 0, Fulham 1 is the latest score. Southampton heading for relegation. And half-time in the Gallagher Premiership semi-final. We'll go there in just a moment. But Tottenham on the attack at the moment with Pedro Porro. Level with the edge of the 18-yard box. Tries a deflected cross. And that'll go behind for a Spurs corner. Perry.
Yeah, really good play from Spurs. Just switch of play from Clement Longley in this left centre-back position. Just switching it out to Pedro Porro on that right-hand side. Trying to get his cross in. To be fair, Alex Moreno got a good block in. I think this is Spurs' first corner.
It is. Right in front of the Tottenham fans who are on one side of the ground, occupying a couple of tiers of the Doug Ellis stand. Lots of white shirts in the penalty area here. There's lots of pushing and jostling in the 6-yard box. Into the near post by Pedro Porro. Skimmed off the head of Longley, headed away by Ollie Watkins. Tottenham have it back though with Son, who's got a great record of scoring goals on this ground, Heung-min Son. Pedro Porro's reverse ball left-footed, headed away by Douglas Luiz. Aston Villa's lead, despite their dominance, remains a slender one. Boos for Harry Kane in the left-wing position. Chips it back to the halfway line, but Tottenham will come again. Emerson Royal, a rather leisurely pace suddenly for Tottenham, having had a corner just a few seconds ago. It's with Højbjerg with the orange boots on. Bursts forward inside left, tries to knock it through the middle towards Richarlison. Cleared away by Konsa, brought down cleverly by Bailey in his own right-back position. Gets the free kick, and let's get half-time in the rugby. Saracens against Northampton, Andrew McKenna.
Saracens 21, Northampton 3. 3 tries in the first half, 2 for Sean Maitland, 1 for Ivan van Zyl. Northampton have managed just a Finn Smith penalty. Saracens by far the better side. Northampton need to wake up, or this could get very one-sided. Half-time, Saracens 21, Northampton 3.
Well, whatever happens today, Tottenham's next game will be live on Talksport. It's at home to Brentford, and it will be yet another a photo finish in the race for Europe, it feels like. And of course Tottenham won't be in contention for the Champions League places, but they want some kind of European football. Aston Villa want that too though, and they've got the ball with Bailey trying to wriggle away from Romero on the edge of the penalty area way to our right. Tottenham smuggle it clear. Aston Villa 1, Spurs 0. Knocked high downfield by Højbjerg. Martinez way outside his penalty area. Very calm cushion header to find his fullback Moreno, and Moreno has burst beyond Pedro Porro, not beyond that robust challenge from Emerson Royal. It's a throw to Tottenham, and Tottenham have finally woken up in the game.
Yeah, just trying to get themselves a little bit of possession. Again, it's that high line from Aston Villa, but Martinez's position is very good, his starting position, because he just made sure that he was 10 yards outside of his 18-yard box. Decent header out to his left-hand side to Moreno, ends up overrunning the ball and giving possession away.
It's ticking towards the hour mark now. Son in the centre circle, looking to spray it wide from right to left towards Davis, but it's cut out by the chest of Ashley Young, and the game is getting stretched. Here goes Bailey. Bailey inside right channel. Villa fans get to their feet in front of us. Bailey blocked off by Longley. No free kick given by Peter Banks, nor did the assistant flag. Tottenham have conceded possession back. Young is wrestled to the ground, and now Aston Villa get a free kick.
Actually, to be fair, I thought it was good refereeing by Peter Banks, because said there Bailey just cut inside, Longley just stood his ground, and Bailey ran into him and he collapsed to the floor as the modern player does, like he's been hit on the head with a lift.
I remember hearing that phrase for the first time last weekend from you. It doesn't get old. It doesn't get old. There's been a goal at Selhurst Park in the Premier League. Which way, Charlotte Richardson?
It is now Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 0. A brace for Eze, and my goodness, what a quality goal. All of his own making. He charted into the box, produced a delightful finish. It left goalkeeper Neto with nothing he could possibly do in the Bournemouth goal. Palace double their advantage. Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 0.
Dundee United 1, Ross County 2, a latest score. There's been a goal at Stamford Bridge. We'll go there very shortly. There's a free kick first here, though, for Aston Villa. Right wing position, 2 over the ball. McGinn and Douglas Luiz. McGinn will leave it for the right foot of the Brazilian. Pumps it high to the far post. Miles over hit, goal kick. Let's get news of that goal at Chelsea with Talksport's Ollie Kling.
Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 1. Chelsea have turned this one around, and it's Raheem Sterling with his second of the game. He was slipped in from the left-hand side of the box. Lovely lovely feet onto his right foot, and he bent a lovely shot into the top right-hand corner. Brilliant goal, and Sterling has dragged Chelsea back in front. Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
And Nottingham Forest have lost a lead on the road in West London again. Forest now, as it stands, 2 points clear of the drop zone, so much encouragement for the sides directly below them. Talksport will bring you the climax to the Premier League season at every end of the table. We'll be there for all the big goals and all the big games. We've had an hour at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0. Tottenham are going to make a double change in just a moment. While they do that, let's bring you the latest from St Mary's with Alex Crook.
And it's still Southampton 0, Fulham 1. Paul Onuachu heading over. The closest Saints have come to an equaliser, but Fulham dominating possession, looking the more likely to add to the scoring. Southampton half an hour away from relegation. Southampton 0, Fulham 1.
Well, Tottenham double change has been made. Skips on a yellow card, replaced by Yves Bissouma, his first appearance since February after injury. And the other change sees Richarlison leave the field, and he's replaced by Dejan Kulusevski. Big game at Old Trafford in the Premier League this afternoon. What's the latest? Talksport's John Dunn.
Just over an hour, Man United 1, Wolves 0. Much more of an even affair in this second half. Wolves much improved. Forced a string of corners not created. United coming close twice through Anthony. 2 deflected shots. They were both on target. Deflected away for corners. Man United 1, Wolves 0.
Here is Tyrone Mings for Aston Villa, corner of his own penalty area, converged upon by Kulusevski. Tottenham threatening to win it back high up the pitch. They have done. Bissouma slips as he tried to dart in field. Free kick given. Didn't look like a foul by Jacob Ramsey. Free kick, said the referee. And let's get half-time at Wembley in the National League playoff final with Ian Abrahams.
Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0. So Chesterfield 45 minutes away from a return to the EFL. They were ahead inside 6 minutes. Andrew Dallas brought down by the goalkeeper Slocum. Banging the penalty straight down the middle. It's not that Notts County have been bad. They've had plenty of the ball. They just can't get it to their main man, Macaulay Langstaff, who's been starved of service. Half-time at Wembley is the underdogs ahead. Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0.
Pedro Porro with the Tottenham free kick. Dropped by Martinez inside the penalty area. Hacked away by Ashley Young.
Martinez has got away one there because that was like a bar of soap. There was no pressure on him whatsoever. He just tried to catch it in front of his own face, and he just Alan parried it straight onto the floor. Lucky for him that Tyrone Mings cleared.
And here's a chance for Son, put through the middle, and he's curled it over the top, and up goes that offside flag again. For the umpteenth time in the game, a Tottenham player caught offside in an attacking position. This time it was at the other end of the stadium, and that lime green flag goes up into the air. Aston Villa 1, Tottenham 0 it remains. 63 minutes played. For the latest odds, head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now, Villa 5-2 on to win, the draw 29-10, Spurs 10-1 to win. That's all thanks to Betfair. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. It's raining goals at Stamford Bridge, Johnny Click.
And it's a big one for Forest. Joe, Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Taiwo Awoniyi, with his second of the game, has got them back level once again. There was an effort from the edge of the box directed towards goal, and there was Awoniyi just to nod it into its path and into the back of the net, past Mendy, in front of the Forest fans who go crazy. Their side are back in it just after the hour mark. Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 2.
The twists and turns of the Premier League brought to you by Talksport. So Forest will be 3 points clear of the relegation zone as it stands. Southampton are going down. They trail at home to Fulham on a day they just have to win. And here at Villa Park, Aston Villa going level on points with Tottenham in the race for the European places. 57 points apiece. Villa 7th, Tottenham 6th, Brighton lurking 2 points behind both of them. Brighton with 3 games in hand. So many important matches to come between now and the rest of the season. Of course, Liverpool are embroiled in the fight for European football. They're at Leicester on Monday night, live on Talksport. Here's Kulusevski for Spurs in the area, twisting, turning, shooting, just wide of goal. A foot or so wide from Dejan Kulusevski. Villa wanted a free kick in the build-up. They didn't get it. Could have been 1-1.
Brilliant play from Dejan Kulusevski on that right-hand side. I think Moreno's got to pay to get back into Villa Park because he's slid off the pitch as Kulusevski just cuts inside him, gets him back onto his left foot. He's just trying to bend it inside Martinez's right-hand post. Just goes agonisingly wide from the Spurs point of view, probably about 6 inches wide. Good play from Kulusevski.
Kilmarnock 2, Livingston 0, a latest score. And Bolton 0, Barnsley 1. in the League One playoff semi-final first leg. That's live on Talksport 2 right now. They'll be at Sunderland Luton at 5:30 and Salford against Stockport at 7:45 in the Championship and League 2 playoff semis respectively. And we've got the game day phone in to come, 03717 223344, to have your say from 5:30 on Talksport with Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahor, the former Aston Villa striker. Villa heading for what would be a huge win. Unai Emery stands arm folded in his technical area. We've still got, 25 minutes to go, and Villa are readying a double change, Perry Groves.
Yeah, just Spurs just trying to get themselves on top in this game. It's their best little period of possession that they've had. They've played higher up the pitch. They've made sure they're trying to close Aston Villa down now while they're trying to play out. Bissouma's made a little bit of difference. That's because Højbjerg has pushed further forward.
And now we have a cauldron of noise at Villa Park. And I think the home fans just sensing that Tottenham are starting to get on top in the game. Tottenham coming good in the second half maybe, but they haven't got the goals to show for it yet. They're still behind the North London team. Forward by Emerson Royale, trying to wait that pass inside right channel towards Son. I don't think he'd beaten the offside chap, but Villa cleared it anyway. Forward by Martinez, John Duran and Boubacar Kamara ready to come on for Aston Villa in claret and blue. Listen to the noise at Villa Park. Villa attacking the whole end. It's with Ramsey. Ramsey looking to dart through the middle. Romero stops him in his tracks.
Yeah, Ryan Mason's just changed it a little bit with Heung-min Son just going more central to play alongside Harry Kane, because he's just trying to make those darting runs because Villa are playing such a high line. Son's been in 4 times he's been caught offside, and he's got to make sure he times his run better.
Well, Boubacar Kamara and John Duran have received some final instructions here. Unai Emery with his hands on his hips as the ball is scooped forward by Davis for Tottenham, headed clear by Martinez from outside his own penalty area and smacked up high into the lower tier of the dugout is stand by Alex Moreno for a Tottenham throw. But Tottenham are having a good spell, and maybe that's why Villa are making these changes. Bailey, his number is first up. Villa fans give him a standing ovation. And it's Boubacar Kamara, who's had injury problems aplenty at Aston Villa since joining the club, who comes on. And Emi Buendia also leaving the field, and it's the 19-year-old, the Colombian, John Duran, who joined the club in January from Chicago Fire, who will replace Buendia. What's the thinking, I wonder?
I think Kamara just got into that central midfield area. I said John Duran will again be a like-for-like for Buendia, probably just try and play off of Ollie Watkins.
With a bit more height than Buendia and more physically imposing. His 11th Villa appearance, and all of those have been substitute appearances for John Duran. Aston Villa lead by a 1-0, and we're into the final quarter of the game on Talksport. Are there twists still to come? We've seen plenty already this afternoon on Talksport, as it's dinked high up the inside left channel by Longley, and Ben Davis is in behind McGinn here, whips in the cross, but he was on the run. He could only float it up into the gloves of Emi Martinez. Aston Villa counter.
Yeah, John McGinn just fell asleep there. Ben Davis getting the outside of him, but to be fair to John McGinn, he tracked back, he just leaned into Ben Davis when he tried to get his cross away. In the end, it was a simple catch from Martinez.
Bolton 1, Barnsley 1 in the League One playoff semi-final first leg. An equaliser for Bolton. There's commentary right now on Talksport 2. Every single playoff game live on the Talksport network, including Coventry against Middlesbrough tomorrow in the Championship first leg on Talksport at noon. Then we go off to Wembley, where the Sunday session comes from the Women's FA Cup final, Chelsea against Manchester United, with of course all the goals as they go in the Premier League elsewhere. Here is Boubacar Kamara inside the centre circle. Half the pitch is in sunshine, the other half in shade. Villa occupying the shaded portion at the moment. McGinn's got the ball. Right wing position with Young darting forward on the overlap. Back it goes to Kamara once again. Kamara, infield and square to Douglas Luiz. 35 yards out, forward to Watkins. Was he fouled by Romero? He was. With his back to goal. Free kick very much within shooting range here. Looks like it's right on the edge of the D.
There's absolutely no need for Cristiano Romero to make that challenge there, because the ball's just rolled into Ollie Watkins' feet. He does really well, gets himself side on, gets his body between Romero and the ball. He's going nowhere, just gives a needless free kick away on the edge of the D. Very dangerous position here for Aston Villa.
It's all happening across the Talksport network. All the football, all of the time. Feels like that at this point in the season. There's a goal to tell you about at St Mary's. Alex Crook.
And if ever there was any doubt, there isn't any more. Southampton 0, Fulham 2. Alexander Mitrovic off the bench, back from his 8-game suspension, has just steered the ball into the bottom corner at the near post. He salutes the Fulham fans. Southampton heading to the Championship. Southampton 0, Fulham 2.
03717 223344 Saints fans for the game day phone in with Jamie O'Hara and Gabby Agbonlahor at 5:30 once we're done here. Southampton's 11-year stay in the Premier League is surely coming to an end. Aston Villa have a free kick, 1-0 up against Tottenham. It is a couple of yards from the edge of the D, a slither right of centre, perfect you would think for Douglas Luiz to hit this some range at the Holt end.
Well, these set pieces haven't set the world alight, have they, from corners
Not so
and
far.
free kicks, because he's either overhit him or hit the first man, so can he redeem himself?
Well, he is the man standing over it. Ashley Young was initially. There is a 6-man Tottenham wall with one player lying at the feet of the wall itself.
It's Yves Bissouma. Have you ever seen it hit the draft excluder, ever?
Not yet, although it might be about to. Forster's looking up into the sun, the Tottenham goalkeeper. Will it be Ashley Young or will it be Douglas Luiz? Luiz to curl it! And it's in! Goalkeeper got a hand to it, but he couldn't keep it out! And Aston lead Tottenham by 2-0. And Villa have gone from relegation candidates earlier in the season to potentially heading for European football. What a job Unai Emery has done, and it's another sorry away day for Spurs. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 0.
Joe, we said about can he redeem himself from the free kick situation. Exactly what he's done, because his deliveries haven't been great from corners, free kicks, but when you most need it, he stepped up to the plate. It's a fantastic free kick from Douglas Luiz with his right foot, bending it up and over the wall. Fraser Forster just scrambling to his left-hand side, can't get to it. And you have to say, I'm looking at the goalkeeper, he doesn't go anywhere near the post, to be fair. It's probably about 2 yards in from Fraser Forster's left-hand post. So you'd have to say maybe that's the goalkeeping error, because he should be getting that. He should be moving his feet a lot quicker.
Unsighted, he's behind a big wall.
Yeah, but
maybe.
As you look, he doesn't move his feet quick enough, so it doesn't exactly go in off the post. It's a great technique from Douglas Luiz. That all started from a needless challenge, Joe, wasn't it, from Romero on Ollie Watkins. Cost his Spurs team massive. Aston Villa deservedly go 2-0 up.
And Tottenham wilting on the road again. 2-0 to Aston Villa. And Aston Villa are closing in on Tottenham in terms of goal difference. They haven't scored as many as Spurs. They'd need a big win to go above Tottenham, but suddenly they're turning on the style. And sliding in, tracking back is Kulusevski for Spurs to win it back in the centre circle. A Brazilian flag unfurled after Douglas Luiz scored that potentially clinching second goal. 16.5 minutes to go on Talksport. Offside flag up against Kulusevski. You can hear it from the ironic cheers. It's Talksport with Now Sports. Don't forget, with Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Everton against Man City, Arsenal against Brighton, live tomorrow for £11.99, no contract. Search Now Sports. We'll be following Tottenham again next weekend in the Premier League with their home game against Brentford on Talksport, and that is going to be a real crunch game in their season, because of course Brighton are hot on the heels of both these teams, but it's Aston Villa who are finding form, maybe at just the right time, and their home form this season has been truly outstanding. They have a couple of tough games to go, Villa, away at Liverpool and at home to Brighton on the final day. I tell you what, that home game with Brighton could be something special. But they're dreaming of European football at Villa Park again. That's a foul by Duran all over the top of Longley. Free kick to Tottenham in the centre circle. Dundee United 1, Ross County 3, a latest score. Ross County heading off the bottom of the Scottish Premiership. In the Premier League, Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 2, Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1, Wolves 0, Southampton 0, Fulham 2, Southampton heading for relegation, Leeds 2, Newcastle 2 in the 12:30 kickoff, and you're up to date. The soundtrack here from the Villa fans is amazing.
You can tell there's a belief with these Aston Villa fans that this Aston Villa team are going places. Their form's been irrepressible here at Villa Park. This is the 6th game if they keep a clean sheet on the trot. Be their 6th win on the trot here. So Unai Emery's gradually turning Villa Park into a little bit of a fortress.
Stinked upfield towards Son for Tottenham. Ashley Young there inside his own penalty area. He'll do the safety first thing and clear. It's come off the head of Højbjerg, kept in play by Kane, who surely was coming back from an offside position on the dead ball line. The assistant keeps the flag down. Tottenham have it, but they've had to go back to the centre circle and Romero. Tottenham didn't get going until the second half. They've had 2 good chances, they've missed both, and now they're 2-0 down. Here comes Bissouma. Through the middle towards Son, edge of the penalty area. Son trying to shuffle it wide towards Pedro Porro. Back to Emerson Royal. Emerson Royal with a slide rule pass to Kulusevski, dead ball line, cuts it back, hacked behind by Konsa. Up goes the offside flag again. Danger gone for Aston Villa.
Again, it's a really well drilled. Actually, sometimes Aston will drop into a flat back 6, but they make sure that nobody drops in behind Konsa and Mings. They make sure that they're in charge of that line. How many times have Spurs been caught offside, Joe, today? Do you think probably 8, 10?
It's been a lot, and that will be a concern for Ryan Mason, who stands with his arms folded on the touchline. Tottenham heading for another away defeat. Another important game in the race for Europe, in the race for Champions League football, is at Old Trafford. Latest there, John Dunn.
76 minutes score, Man United 1, Wolves 0. Still Man United coming close on a couple of occasions. Wolves have got Daniel Bentley, debuting goalkeeper, to thank, denying Bruno Fernandes and Jadon Sancho, both at his near post with shots coming in from the left. Wolves looking dangerous on the break. Man United 1, Wolves 0.
Here is John McGinn for Aston Villa, forward to Watkins inside the penalty area, couldn't control it, and it's through to Forster. Huge game for Nottingham Forest at Chelsea. There have been plenty of goals. What's the latest, Ollie Klink?
Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 2, 18 minutes to go. Forest have been pushing since they got level. Joe Renan Lodi has had a couple of chances. He almost scored a brilliant goal just now, driving a shot from the edge of the box, which skimmed just wide. But Havertz and Ziyech are on for Chelsea as they push for a winner. It's all to play for here at the Bridge. Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 2.
Tottenham have won a corner here in front of their fans. Kulusevski with good work raiding down the right, but they need something very quickly, Perry Groves.
Yep, got to make sure it's a decent delivery from Kulusevski. Said from Tottenham's right hand side, he'll even swing it with his left foot. Just looking at Spurs, Harry Kane, just man marked by John McGinn.
And swinging corner to the near post, headed away by Alex Moreno with relative ease. And now it's with Pedro Porro on the halfway line. A quick throw to Bissouma. And Pedro Porro has it now midway into opposition territory. It's with Højbjerg out to the near side and Ben Davies. Ben Davies rolls it back to Højbjerg for Tottenham with 12 minutes to go here. They look potentially a beaten side. And Tottenham really struggling potentially in the race for European football. Level on points with Aston Villa. Almost nothing between them in terms of goal difference. And Brighton with games in hand behind them as well. Opportunity for Kulusevski, right on edge of the 18-yard box, wriggles away from one challenge, not beyond Douglas Luiz. And Douglas Luiz has scored that Aston Villa second goal will clear. St Mirren 2, Hearts 1. Goal back for Hearts in the Scottish Premiership. Here is Son, nudges it wide right. Opportunity for Emerson Royal to try and swing in across, but he can't do that. We'll be off to the South Coast in the Premier League in just a moment. Here come Tottenham trying to get themselves back into the game. A sea of claret and blue shirts in front of them though. Aston Villa are defending with great determination and determined to keep another clean sheet. And now they want it back and they're on the break. John Duran racing down the right. Early ball intercepted by Romero. Could come back to Duran. Romero's cleared it away and then he slides in and he's caught McGinn there. McGinn has wrestled away from him. Referee's given a free kick. Yellow card for Romero. Let's go down to St Mary's. Southampton heading for relegation, Alex Crook.
Southampton 0, Fulham 2. Less than 9 minutes plus stoppage time until Southampton will be put out of their misery. Solemn faces all around me. Carlos Vinicius broke the deadlock 3 minutes into the second half, and substitute Mitrovic stooped to head home with 18 minutes to play. 2012, the last time Saints were in the Championship. They're heading back there. Southampton 0, Fulham 2.
We'll get the latest from Selhurst Park in just a moment. There's a free kick for Aston Villa, right of centre midway into the Tottenham half, and they've sent Konsa forward, and Mings is going to go up there as well. Tottenham are going to bring on Arno Danjuma shortly.
Yeah, you see that Unai Emery is such an experienced manager. When Spurs started to get on top, he changed it, went 4-3-3, put Kamara in midfield with McGinn and Douglas Luiz just to negate Spurs' threat.
McGinn's delivery high towards Tyrone Mings. The header is blocked, maybe by his own man. It might have been Harry Kane who got in the way in the end. Smuggled away from danger. The National League playoff final second half is underway. Chesterfield lead Notts County by 1-0. If there are further goals, we'll take you straight to Wembley. Tottenham change, Pedro Porro coming off, on comes Arno Danjuma, and let's bring you the latest from Selhurst Park in the Premier League. Talksport, Charlotte Richardson.
It's Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 0, a goal on each side of half-time from Eberici. Eze has put Palace in cruise control on their own patch. That's 6 goals in 8 games for Eze. Palace are completely dominating proceedings and on track for another 3 points as we head for the final 10 minutes. It's Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 0.
What an extraordinary job Roy Hodgson has done since taking over at Crystal Palace.
And Eberici Eze has been probably in his best goal scoring form of his career. 6 goals he's got now under Roy Hodgson.
Completely rediscovered his form. Douglas Luiz on the ball for Aston Villa. 9 minutes to go. They lead 2-0 against Tottenham. Alex Moreno inside left channel. Here's Jacob Ramsey crossing. Headed away by Clement Lenglet. The ball is back at the feet of Douglas Luiz. Out to Moreno again in the bright sunshine. Back to Luiz once more. Infield to Kamara. Can he get past Emerson Royale, who slid in? He could, but he couldn't play it beyond Romero. Romero dinks the ball away casually, but he's not going to find Kulusevski. Aston Villa with that real determination, as I say, not just to see out the win, I think, but keep another clean sheet in the Premier League. Unai Emery, arms folded, another clean sheet in the Premier League at home.
And that's in no small part to Emiliano Martinez, to be fair, because when Spurs were on top and Aston Villa 1-0 up, there was a 1v1 situation, wasn't it, with Harry Kane. Martinez made sure he stayed nice and big and strong, end up saving the shot from Harry Kane, and that enabled Aston Villa to go and get themselves 2-0 up with a fantastic free kick from Douglas Luiz.
Here is Lenglet, left of centre, shrugged aside a potential shoulder problem to play today. He's knocked it square to Son. Son inside the centre circle, spins away from the challenge of Douglas Luiz, and that loose ball has ricocheted off Duran, and it's a throw to Tottenham. Harry Kane, who I think many interpreted his comments this week, Perry, as suggesting that he is going to stay at the club for another season at least, but a penny for his thoughts again.
But when I heard those comments, he said about changing the culture and if they can qualify for Europe, I don't get why you would. I know Arsene Wenger said, that finance come into it and he'll go on a free transfer at the end of next season, but he's going to waste a year of his career if he stays here at Tottenham Hotspur. There's so much of a big job to do to change the culture, to get some deadwood of the players out, to get the right players in. Why waste a year of your career when you're in your prime?
Danjuma's won a corner for Tottenham, flipping the ball against the ankle of Ashley Young, and it's a Spurs corner on the near side. We're very close to the North Stand goal, about midway inside the half to the left. St Mirren 2, Hearts 1 it remains, but Hearts are down to 10 men in the Scottish Premiership. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 0 here. Southampton, meanwhile, just minutes to get away from Premier League relegation, trailing 2-0 at home to Fulham. Ball in by Son from the corner, high to the far post. Martinez gathered that very impressively, spinning backwards and looking up into the sun, and he plucked it out of the air, the World Cup winner.
Yeah, really good goalkeeping from Martinez, just making sure that he watches the flight of the ball. Probably 2 floated in there from Heung-min Son.
More than 42,000 here today, several thousand from North London, some of whom are heading for the exits already. Tottenham obviously are going to be wary of Brighton coming behind them. Brighton, who've got 3 games in hand on both Spurs and Aston Villa. Tottenham's next game at home to Brentford, live on Talksport. Then they travel to Leeds on the final day. There's a free kick to Aston Villa midway into Tottenham territory, and the Holt end applauds that.
You have to excuse me as well, Joe, if I get a little bit emotional, because obviously my old club, Southampton, getting relegated. That's right, I'm over it now, it's done.
Well, there are Southampton fans who might want to have their say about that. It's been a wretched season, and you can do so on the game day phone in from 5:30 03717 22 33 44. Here is Watkins inside left channel, poor back pass, or a little flick back towards Ramsey, intercepted by Christian Romero for Tottenham. More Tottenham fans leaving the stadium. And Højbjerg has gone down, and there's a free kick. Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 2, it remains. Crystal Palace 2, Bournemouth 0. Manchester United 1, Wolves 0. So Manchester United and Newcastle would be 4 points clear of Liverpool in 5th in the race for the Champions League as it stands. And Southampton 0, Fulham 2, as we mentioned. Leeds 2, Newcastle 2, it finished earlier. Here's an opportunity for Kane, inside right channel. Can he beat Martinez to the ball? Goalkeeper did look like he got something to it. Kane, though, went to ground. Difficult to tell from our angle. Kane is down. Corner, says the referee.
Well, the lines was looking straight at it at first looks. I thought Harry Kane was offside, but he may have timed his run perfectly. So just looking at the situation again, comes into Kulusevski. It's very, very tight. Kane gets himself 1v1 with Martinez, who just slides in, takes the ball first with his left forearm. Quite rightly, Peter Banks, the referee, just gives a corner kick for Spurs over on their right hand side.
Kane, having been bundled to the ground, is now able to get back on his feet. 4 minutes to go. VAR is checking for a possible penalty kick. There was contact between Martinez and Kane as he spread himself at the feet of the goalkeeper. There are players from both sides surrounding the referee, who's standing on the edge of the 18-yard box. And of course, is he going to be asked to look at the pitch side monitor? We're looking at replays of it again and again and again. Does the goalkeeper get a touch on the ball? And how much of a touch does he get really there,
First looks, it looked like he got his right forearm to the ball first, but then as it slowed down, it looks like the ball pops over his hands. And I wouldn't be surprised if this was given as a penalty. Looking at offside, they're looking for an offside
in
as
the
well
build-up,
in the build-up,
which I think has been adjudged not to have been offside. And still the VAR check goes on. The big screen, one in each corner at Villa Park, is lit up here, checking possible penalty for a foul. Martinez on Kane, and still the check goes on. Referee continues to speak to both sets of players, or a couple from each team, and Peter Banks, of course, will be in communication with the VAR, Jared Gillett.
Well, obviously they get different angles from us, Joe, but first angle it looked like that Martinez has got his right forearm to the ball. Then we've seen another angle, it looks like the ball just pops up, goes over his hands, and he doesn't get a touch on the ball. So you can understand why it's taking this long at the moment, because obviously they're looking at numerous different angles to make sure they get the right decision.
Decisions like this, it is going to lead the referee to check the pitch side monitor, and we know what usually happens in this situation. You would expect, having reviewed it, that Tottenham will get a penalty, but it's not guaranteed just yet. 2.5 minutes to go. Massive game in the race for European football. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 0 is the score. Are Spurs going to get a late opportunity of a potential lifeline here, I wonder?
You also see VAR, Jared Gillett has asked Peter Banks to go and have a look at it. As you said there, Joe, normally it means that decision will be overturned and the referee will give a penalty.
He is having a prolonged look at the monitor. Now he takes a couple of steps back. He's made his decision here. Peter Banks, the referee, and I think he's going to give a penalty. He is going to give a penalty. A late spot kick for Tottenham. Martinez on Kane. We'll have a lot of stoppage time to come after a prolonged VAR check with 2 minutes to go. Harry Kane, who was fouled, is going to step up against Martinez. And Martinez is doing just what he did in the World Cup final for Argentina. And he's having words with the referees, having words with Kane, and it's going to take a long time for him to step back towards his own goal. Ashley Young has been yellow carded, and Aston Villa's long run of clean sheets at home in the Premier League is under real threat here, with Harry Kane ready to step up, potentially to score his 9th goal in his last 10 Tottenham appearances. A big moment in the game, and potentially a big moment in the season. If Tottenham can get back into it here, we'll have a lot of stoppage time at a ground where they have a great record. Kane stands in the sunshine. 42,000 sets of eyes on him. Martinez hopping up and down on his goal line. The penalty hero in the World Cup final for Argentina. It's going to be a short run up for Kane. Tottenham are 2-0 down. Big deep breath from the Spurs skipper. Here he goes, right-footed, down the middle he scores. Martinez went the wrong way. Tottenham have late hope into the final minute of normal time. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 1.
Brilliant penalty from Harry Kane. Just made sure he concentrated on the ball, not all the noise that's going around him, with Martinez trying to put him off, obviously. Just make sure that he lets Martinez commit himself. Martinez dives to his right-hand side. Harry Kane goes to his left-hand side. Really good penalty from Harry Kane. Sprints to get the ball back out of the goal to put it on the centre spot for Aston Villa to take the kick-off.
Ben Davies has come off and Ivan Perisic has come on. We're into stoppage time at Villa Park on Talksport. It's a must-win game for Aston Villa. It was a must-not-lose for Tottenham. You do feel that a Spurs equaliser would really change the complexion in the fight for European football. Matty Cash is going to come on for Aston Villa shortly. 6 minutes of added time. Scores as you were in the Premier League. Chelsea 2, Forest 2, Palace 2, Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1, Wolves 0, Southampton 0, Fulham 2. Southampton are minutes away from being confirmed relegated. Here's that change for Villa. Ollie Watkins, yellow carded as he runs off. I think because he took too long initially to leave the field. Matty Cash back from injury, coming on for Aston Villa. So Perry, can Tottenham force one more chance?
Well, it's amazing how an atmosphere in the stadium can change, can't it, Joe? Because it was all celebrations for the Aston Villa fans. They were thinking they were going to have a comfortable 2-0 victory. Harry Kane's penalty has changed all that. There's a nervousness that's gone around the Aston Villa faithful now, and it's whether they can see the game out.
Bolton 1, Barnsley 1 in the League One playoff semi-final. It remains live on Talksport 2, closing stages there. Chesterfield 1, Notts County 0 in the National League playoff final at Wembley. They kicked off half an hour later than we did here. Aston Villa have possession deep inside the Tottenham half. It's smuggled away. Cash with a looping header towards the left-hand channel, and Jacob Ramsey. We are 1 minute and 20 seconds through the 6 added. Tottenham have it back now with Christian Romero. They start games poorly, they finish games well. That's been the Tottenham playbook all season. Are we going to see it again here? Foul by McGinn on Højbjerg. Free kick to Spurs, lip of the centre circle.
Yeah, Unai Emery obviously just trying to hold on to this 2-1 lead. He's gone to a flat back five now. Ashley Young going play as the right-sided centre half with Condra inside him, Tyrone Mings left-hand side, Moreno as the left wing back, and Matty Cash as the right wing back.
Nervy atmosphere now at Villa Park. Villa 2, Spurs 1. On Talksport with Car Finance 24/7. In your corner throughout your car buying journey, search Car Finance 24/7 today. Tottenham coming forward with Danjuma. There's been late drama on this ground in the past in games between these two sides in relatively recent seasons. Bissouma from the centre circle, wide to the right hand side. Opportunity for Kulusevski to come forward. Infield to Bissouma again. Plenty of attacking players on the field now for Tottenham Hotspur. Harry Kane has held it up. He's played it wide to Bissouma once more. On to Kulusevski in front of the Tottenham fans. Can he get to the dead ball line here? Alex Moreno hacks it out of play. Aston Villa have to hold on here, you feel. Realistically, 2.5 minutes through 6 added on Talksport. Villa's season could come down to these moments here. Bissouma, middle of the Villa half. Back it goes to Longley. Out wide to Perisic, on to Danjuma, level with the edge of the penalty area, taking on Cash, Perisic on the overlap, Perisic floats in the cross, headed away, out to Danjuma, Danjuma mishits it, thumped clear by Konsa, up into the air towards the halfway line. John Duran beats Longley to the ball, Duran away from Romero, trying to skip through the middle, across came Højbjerg.
Brilliant play from Højbjerg. So Romero struggling 1v1 with John Duran, tries to go on the left-hand side of him. Højbjerg intercepts.
And now Perisic left wing position, plays it in low, it could reach Kane, it'll come to Kulusevski, right hand edge of the penalty area, onto his left foot, Kulusevski shoots, curler over the top. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 1, it remains.
It's all hands to the pump now for Aston Villa. Virtually it's a flat back 6. Spurs just piling forward. Kulusevski coming to his right hand side, onto his left foot, he's trying to bend it inside Musley's top right hand corner and disguise it.
It's finished in St Mary's. Southampton 0, Fulham 2. Southampton are relegated, dropping to the Championship after 11 years in the Premier League. What a sorry season it's been for Southampton, and the spectre of relegation that has loomed so large has now finally caught up with them. Southampton are down. 03717 223344 Saints fans for the game day phone in. Southampton relegated today. Tottenham trail at Aston Villa. They'll be level on points, these two, at the end of the 90 if it stays like this. We've had 4 minutes plus a few seconds of 6 added at the very end. St Johnstone 0, Motherwell 2. A latest score. There's been a goal at Old Trafford in the Premier League. John Dunn.
Manchester United 2, Wolves 0. We've got 2 minutes of injury time remaining. Alejandro Garnacho has scored sent clear, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, hits one post, rolls over the line. That seals it. Manchester United 2, Wolves 0.
Tottenham seeking a very late equaliser here. Bissouma, corner of the penalty area, out to Danjuma, forward to Son, claret and blue shirts all around him. Villa holding firm for now, just over a minute of stoppage time to go. Crossed by Kulusevski, here goes Bissouma, can he reach it? No, sliding in, couldn't get there at the north stand end of the ground. Aston Villa fans all around the stadium, hearts will be racing, but they're so nearly there. They've so nearly got a very important victory.
Yeah, Martinez obviously not in a hurry to take the goal kick. Tyrone Mings just fainting as if he's going to try and get it off of Martinez. Unai Emery just telling Tyrone Mings to get it out of the 18-yard box so that Martinez can just hoof the ball up the pitch.
There might be a few seconds of added time on added time, I wonder, Perry, because we were delayed the start of added time itself. We've got 30 seconds to go of the official 6 added. Header by Cash, forward from the halfway line. It's in the Tottenham half, and Villa have it with Ramsey. Back to Alex Moreno on halfway. Has to roll the back pass to Martinez. Has to race out of his goal to hammer it clear, high downfield. It looks for John McGinn. McGinn battling with Royale. McGinn beaten to it, and then was he fouled by Romero? Referee says play on, and Romero and McGinn almost going head to head there. Romero's got to be careful because he's on a yellow card. Tottenham trail by 2-1. We've had the 6 added minutes on Talksport. What a thrilling afternoon it's been, up and down the country in the Premier League. The referee has had a look at his watch. Forward by Romero. Son is chasing. Flag is down. Son is clear. Son has put it in the net, and the flag is up. Isn't that the story of the game for Tottenham going forward? Huge cheers from the Villa fans. The goal doesn't count. Villa 2, Tottenham 1.
I would say that's probably the 6th time that Heung-min Son's been caught offside. He's got to make sure that he times his run better, because Aston Villa keeping a real high line, level with the D, and Son's just a left shoulder offside. The assistant, the far side of us, just took his time to put his flag up, but we was in line with it, Joe. We thought it was offside. That's exactly the case.
Yellow card for Kane for complaining. Villa Park is on its feet. 42,000 in the sunshine here. Time is nearly up. Referee puts one arm up into the air, and I think when Martinez clears this long, that will be it. Villa subs out to the edge of the dugout to celebrate. Holt Enders in the sky, rings around Villa Park. Long from Martinez. Still the whistle doesn't go. Header by Duran. It'll come to Perisic in the left back position. Tottenham throw, but they've got it a heck of a long way from the Villa goal. Too far away, surely, for a late equaliser. They're 2-1 down here, Tottenham.
The Villa coaching staff are going absolutely apoplectic. They're surrounding Andy Taylor, the 4th official.
That is the full-time whistle. A massive victory for Aston Villa in the fight for Europe. They were relegation contenders potentially early in the season, but Unai Emery has come in, and potentially Aston Villa could end up playing European football for the first time since 2011. He salutes the Villa fans, the manager, as he darts down the touchline, clenches his fist, and Unai Emery knows just how important a victory that was for Villa. It takes them level on points with Tottenham, and it's going to be one heck of a fight for European football going into the last 2 games of the season. Tottenham beaten on the road again. They haven't won a Premier League game away from North London since the 23rd of January on a thrilling afternoon at Villa Park. The home side went in front early on through Jacob Ramsey. Douglas Luiz doubled the advantage with a free kick, and though Harry Kane's penalty after a VAR check made it 2-1 very late on, Spurs couldn't find an equaliser. They lose on the road once more. More questions will be asked of them, but for Aston Villa, a 14th win under Unai Emery in the Premier League, and you never know, maybe come the end of the season, it'll be the Aston Villa fans who are booking flights to European destinations around the continent. It finishes live on Talksport. Aston Villa 2, Tottenham 1.
Well, Joe is absolutely right. They're level on points. Spurs in 6th, Villa in 7th, both on 57. Spurs with a slightly better goal difference there on +6, Villa on +4. So it comes down to the last 2 games of the season. Next Saturday, Spurs-Brentford live on Talksport is the lunchtime game. And then at 3 o'clock, Villa go to Liverpool. Last day of the season, it's Villa against Brighton, and Spurs are at Leeds. So Aston Villa 2, Spurs 1 in our live game on Talksport this afternoon. We're halfway through the second half here at Wembley, and Chesterfield still lead Notts County by 1-0 in the National League playoff final. And the big news from the Premier League this afternoon is that Saints are down at St Mary's for Talksport. Alex Crook.
Southampton 0, Fulham 2. We've just seen the Southampton players conduct what could only be described as a lap of dishonour in front of a half-empty stadium, three-quarters empty stadium, because after more than 400 games, a couple of European tours and 11 years in the Premier League, Southampton are relegated. It was a fittingly abject and gutless conclusion to what has been a wretched campaign. They had to win, Saints, to stand any chance of prolonging their top flight stay, but it never looked on. Carlos Vinicius tapped Fulham into the lead on 48 minutes after a counter-attack move, and the returning Alexander Mitrovic made sure with his stooping header 18 minutes from time on his comeback from an 8-match suspension. We're expecting a statement later tonight from Southampton's owner Sport Republic, and they have some serious explaining to do. It's a club record 24th league defeat of the season. They can look forward to trips to Plymouth, Rotherham and maybe even the Posh next season. It's finished here. Southampton 0, Fulham 2.
Southampton relegated, that's now confirmed, and there's a big piece by Alex on the Talksport.com website charting just how bad Southampton have been on and off the pitch this season. So head to the website Talksport.com. Southampton fans, if you want to drown your sorrows in that. Hearts deep in injury time have equalised at St Mirren. There were 2 down, it's now 2-2. Scotland striker Lawrence Shankland from the spot in the 96th minute. Big win for Man United at Old Trafford. John Dunn.
Manchester United 2, Wolves 0, richly deserved. And on another day, this would have been even more.